Hello, this is a guy who likes fanfiction and is too lazy to read, so here is Forever Insane in audio form. Check the description for the links to the author. Chapter 39. A broken mind is like a broken record. Stuck in one spot. Not able to move on. The record just keeps skipping, and skipping. Any tune on a broken record is warped sounding. It keeps on the same track. And that's what's happening to Maka. Her mind is broken. She doesn't even know how to react. So she laughs. Maka can't get past the fact that everything went so wrong. Her mind isn't catching up to the fact that the demon is standing in front of her with that ghastly grin on his face. Or maybe it has. And she's just mad. Azura's smile grows as he takes in the girl with his red eyes. Takes in her giggling and the way her eyes shake with madness. His madness. Krona is sharing in the same unknown joke with Maka. He can't stop laughing either. His body is shaking in spasms. Ragnarok is the only one who stands tall. But his piercing blue eyes are shaking. The madness is unbearable. It's too much. And Maka's mind keeps skipping. Not able to move on to get focused. She's broken. She's insane. It's over, girl, just accept it. Azura outstretches a hand, that grin never leaving his face. You are mad, you are mine dash. She's not fucking yours. Ragnarok snaps, his eyes on fire as he gets in front of the giggling girl, his chest puffing up. I kicked your ass once and I'll fucking do it again. Oh, it's you. Azura's grin falls as he looks at the raven-haired boy with those red eyes. You only got lucky that one time, but now I'm much stronger than you and you know this. You face me, but my madness is eating away at your being. Don't try to fight it anymore, boy, you have been through so much, what's the point in being sane? Madness is an escape from your fears, from your pain, why fight it then, boy? When your existence has been nothing but pain. Shut the fuck up. Ragnarok growls, but he's panting. His eyes are shaking worse. No matter what you do, boy, this girl will die. You can't stop this, and why would you want to? This girl's death is on me as much as it is on you and Krona. I will make her death quick, painless, but I cannot say the same about the snake, and you know this, don't you? We're going to fucking stop you. You're not fucking taking her. Ragnarok bares his teeth, his chest is heaving. But you know that's not true. Azura smirks at him when he tenses. Stop trying to fool yourself, it's over. Just give me the girl, look at her, she belongs to me. Ragnarok doesn't look at her. He just glares at the demon with those black eyes of hate. Why not save yourself? Why care for the girl? Better yet, why even care about the boy? Once Krona dies, you will be set free. Isn't that what you want, boy? To be set free. Azura's red eyes are locked onto his piercing ones. Set free to fucking what? Ragnarok is shaking slightly, but he stands firm. To fucking hell? No, you're not fucking hurting any of them. I will rip you apart. But they both belong to me, look at them, they're laughing, they are so happy to see me. Azura's smirk is devilish as he looks back at Maka and Krona. They're both on the ground laughing. They can't even get up. Their bodies are shaking too much. No, they're fucking laughing like that because you're driving them fucking insane. Ragnarok's voice is getting dark and he takes a step forward. I'm not doing anything. Azura looks back at him. Madness is in everyone, boy. It's in you as well. But you're fighting it. Why fight me, boy? Madness will set you free. You have no hope of surviving without madness. Come now. Justin looks over at Ragnarok with that grin on his face, his eyes still red, he stays bowed down before Azura. You know fighting the almighty Azura is pointless, you're alone in this. You have no hope. Just hand over the girl. It's not Lake the witch cares about you. She only cares about herself. What did I fucking tell you? The raven-haired boy takes another step forward. I told you to fucking keep her name out of your mouth. I'm going to rip that fucking nose off of you, Justin, you need to be taught a fucking lesson. Oh well, I tried. Justin bows low on the ground in front of Azura. All hail Azura, the god of madness. It's time for you to take what is yours. Yes, now come to me, Maka Albarn. Azura looks away from Ragnarok to look at Maka. She stands up. Maka keeps laughing as she walks closer to the demon. She has no control. Fucking no. Ragnarok roars as he pushes Maka out of the way, tackling the demon. The raven-haired boy gets a punch in Azura's face before the demon grabs a hold of him. I grow tired of you. Azura's eyes light up as he hits Ragnarok across the face. The force sends him flying across the forest. Maka watches the boy hit a tree with shaky eyes. And a grin on her face. Her mind is still skipping. Now where were we? Azura smirks at her as he reaches out a hand to touch her cheek. Ragnarok reappears in front of her, punching the demon's hand away. Don't fucking touch her. Go back to fucking hell. Ragnarok growls so darkly as he goes to punch the demon again. Let me handle this, my lord. Justin puts his hands on the ground. The ground opens up and those scarves come out, wrapping around Ragnarok. The raven-haired boy growls in pain as the scarves catch on fire. They're burning him. Now Maka, come. It's time to go home. Azura's smirk is horrid as he outstretches out his hand again. Maka takes a step forward. Maka, fucking don't do it. Come on, what the fuck are you doing? Ragnarok screeches at her. He's still yelling in pain. The fire is burning him and the scarves are getting tighter, but his piercing eyes are on her. Krona, get your ass up and do something. Krona is just giggling to himself, laying on the floor. He is in his own little world. Maka takes another step closer to the demon. Are you fucking serious? After all the shit we went through, you're just going to give in to the fucking demon? Don't you remember what this asshole fucking did to you? He took you, goddamn mother. Maka, don't give in to him. Ragnarok's eyes are shaking. She can see how much he's in pain right now. But he's using all he has to yell at her. Maka pauses mid-step, her green eyes flashing. Come on dear, it's okay, it's over, just take my hand. Azura keeps his hand outstretched. Justin is grinning from ear to ear. Maka, no. Rain-Geark snaps at her when she took a step forward. Think of your mother. Think about her. He fucking killed her. Your mom wouldn't fucking want this for you. To fucking die the same way as she did. A mother would never want that. Open your fucking eyes, Maka. Think about what you're doing. Think about your mother. Think about her. Ragnarok is panting. He's forcing the words out. He's getting weak. The flames are burning him so badly. Maka stops walking. The record stops skipping. Mom. Maka's eyes shake as she grabs her hair. Yes, your mom. Don't fucking give up, you bitch. Think of her. Think of Krona. Think of me. Ragnarok's voice gets weak at the end, his piercing blue eyes getting dull. He's fading. Maka's eyes get wide. Her mother's smile flashes through her head. Memories of them at the park. Memories with her mother holding her. Her eyes stop shaking with madness. They shake with anger, a fire burning her being. This demon is the one who took her beautiful mother. She can't just fucking give up. She'll make this asshole pay. He's the cause of all this. Azura. Maka screams, her power coming out of her, sending the demon and Justin back a few feet. Her fingers are twitching, her eyes aflame. She looks over at Ragnarok, who is barely there anymore. Maka points at the scarves. And the scarves turn to ice, the fire getting burned out. They shatter, letting go of Ragnarok. The raven-haired boy falls on his side, but he forces himself back up. Hey, you're back. Ragnarok gives her a smirk as he grips his burnt-up arm. I'm glad you decided to stop being a dumbass. Maka walks over to him and touches his burns. Her power leaves her and the burns leaves his body. You okay? Maka looks him in his piercing blue eyes. That fucking doesn't matter. He glares and looks away, but his eyes, they hold something else. Stop fucking using your powers. You're going to get that asshole to show up. What else am I supposed to do? Maka snaps. There's no way you can fight Justin and Azura by yourself. You need me and my power. No, what you need to do is take Krona and get the fuck out of here. Ragnarok looks back at her with cold eyes, a cold resolve. I'll fucking take care of him. Ragnarok, we're not fucking leaving you. You can't fight the both of them. Maka shakes her head. Bitch, I can handle these two assholes. You two bitches will just get in my way. Ragnarok pushes her over towards Krona, growling. Fucking go. I'm sorry to say, but none of you are going anywhere. Azura suddenly appears between Maka and Ragnarok. He just touches the boy's face and he's sent flying back, leaving Maka standing in front of this thing alone. If you continue to fight me, I'll make you suffer. Azura's eyes light up as he starts to reach out for her. Maka winces as a wave of madness hits her. She starts to giggle, but she bites her lip. She can't lose it now. He killed her mother. Kami's soft smile flashes through her head. Remember her. Get the fuck away from her. Ragnarok roars as he tackles the demon away from her, his fist raining down on the demon. Azura doesn't look affected at all. Maka takes a deep breath as she gathers herself. Her fingers start to twitch. If she can freeze the scarves, maybe she could freeze the demon itself. Ragnarok gets a chunk bitten out of his arm, causing him to cry out. Maka's eyes flash. She doesn't give a fuck about Kid's dad. This demon has taken her family once. He's not doing it again. Maka points at the demon, a smirk ripping out on her face. She is tackled. Maka falls on her back as she's pinned to the ground. Her eyes widen. You can't do that, Maka, what did I tell you? Krona's shaky blue eyes are right by hers. That large grin on his face as he grabs both her hands, stopping the twitching. No powers for you. Jeeza, Maka, I thought I made myself clear. Krona, Ragnarok is in trouble. I need to use my powers or Azura is going to kill us all. Maka struggles with Krona. But his grip is tight. Oh, so you like him that much that you would risk your life? The boy's lips go in a tight line. I don't like that very much, Maka. He's already dead. You're not. You belong to me, not him, you silly willy. Krona's voice is dark, then gets cheerful at the end. His grin is goofy now. Bipolar is all she can think. Krona, now's not the time to be jealous. Maka tries to get out of his grasp. Ragnarok is a part of our family, Krona. And he needs us. Oh yeah? But we don't need him. Krona leans in close, his face dark. Why is it that I'm not enough, Maka? Why do you want him? What did I do fucking wrong? What? Is it that I'm too sweet? If you want me to hurt you like he does, I can. I can be bad too, I can be anything you want me to be, Maka. His nails are digging into her wrist. His voice a growl. When she winces, he loosens his grip on her. Or maybe it's that I'm not sexy enough for you. Krona hums as if he's thinking before a perverted smile comes to his face. Oh, I can be sexy, Maka. The boy leans in, clashing his lips against hers. One of his hands go and grope her breast while the other one slides up her thigh, under her gown. Madness is hitting hard at her brain again as she moans into his mouth. This is complete insanity. But oh well. Krona is suddenly knocked off of her. Maka looks over to see Justin glaring at them with his nose wrinkled. Do you have no decency? The blonde boy is fuming as his hands light up with those vertical eyes. You just cock-blocked me. Krona screeches as he runs, so he's in front of Maka, he's waving his arms in the air. That's not cool, dude. You don't see me trying to cock-block you with that nurse dash. How dare you? Justin snaps, but his cheeks get a slight pink. Such a vulgar boy, you have to be punished. Then come at me, bro. Krona roars as he hits his chest like a ape. Soon the pink-haired boy charges for Justin. Krona tackling him before he can summon those scarves. They're full out fighting. Maka sits up to look over at Ragnarok. The raven-haired boy doesn't look too good. Ragnarok has chunks missing out of him. But he's still fighting. Maka watches as Ragnarok gets another hit to the face. She stands up and her fingers start to twitch. Stay the fuck out of this. He snaps over at her as he kicks Azura in the stomach. Better yet, get the fuck out of here. Now. I'm not leaving you behind. Maka growls as she points at Azura, her power coming out anyway. Oh no, you don't. Justin growls as he throws a ball of darkness at her. Maka, move. Krona pushes her out the way and takes the hit. He's sent flying, hitting a tree with a oof. Maka hears the crack of his skull, but the pink-haired boy is still grinning. Ragnarok is right for once. Get out of here, Maka. Krona runs past her. I couldn't live if I lost you. Fucking leave. Ragnarok screeches in pain as Azura bites another chunk out of him. They, retelling her to leave but Maka watches as Krona punches Justin in the face, laughing only for the blonde boy to knee him in the face. Krona is bleeding. Maka watches as Ragnarok pants, struggling now just to keep up with Azura. They can't beat these two. They're too strong. They need her. Ragnarok is bitten again and Krona's skull is cracked against a tree. Maka's eyes flash. I'm not going fucking anywhere. Maka screams, her power coming out, sending Justin and Azura flying. You're not going to take my fucking family away from me again. You're both fucking dead. Maka touches the ground, a smirk on her face. She doesn't have control anymore. The ground comes up at Justin's feet, he's able to jump but not fast enough. Maka throws a chunk of earth at him, hitting th boy hard. Maka knows she broke some ribs as he falls limp on the hard ground. That had to kill him. She threw something like a boulder of fucking earth at him. Woo. Go Maka! Krona cheers, jumping up and down with those shaking eyes. Let's go Maka, she's our girl. She'll throw dirt at you till you're fucking dead. Give me a give me a give me a k give me a that spells. Krona is hopping all over the place before he holds his hands towards her like a showgirl. Maka. Any other time Maka would be cracking up. But this is no time for laughter. Justin suddenly starts to chuckle. Maka's face falls and so does Krona. It's always the assholes who can't die, huh? Krona pouts, crossing his arms as Justin stands back up. Completely okay. Nice try, witch. Justin grins at her. But you're nothing and your time has run out. It's over. Azura appears in front of her and Krona, his smirk is evil. Maka looks over to where him and Ragnarok were. Her heart sinks. Ragnarok lays on the floor, his back is to her butt. He looks so faded. Ragnarok. Maka cries, about to run to him. But Krona grabs a hold of her. Krona, let go. No dash. Krona, stop being an asshole. Maka snaps, turning on him. I know you're jealous, but damn it Krona, get over it. He is a part of us. How can you just be okay with him fading away? After all you two have been through? How can you be like this, Krona? If it was you, Ragnarok would help you. He wouldn't just let you fucking die like a selfish asshole dash. Maka. Krona frowns at her. Look. She turns to where his finger is pointing. And her face falls. Oh. Justin stands off to the side of Ragnarok with his hands on the ground. He was waiting for her. If she ran out to Ragnarok, both her and him would have been at Justin's mercy. It was a trap. Maka can't help but to feel guilty as she looks back at Krona. The boy's eyes are watering. So that's how you feel about me? He huffs as he lets go of her, crossing his arms. You think I'm a jealous bastard? Well, you are, Krona. Maka sighs at how he glares at her. I have good reasons, it doesn't mean I want him to disappear. Krona's eyes shake. Krona, I didn't mean dash. This is boring me. Azura takes a step closer. Come to me, girl. Now. Fuck you. Maka gives him her middle finger. If you do not listen. Azura nods to Justin and the blonde boy presses down on the ground. The ground starts to crack around Ragnarok. The boy will pay. Maka looks over at Ragnarok with wide eyes. It's either him or her. That's not fair. Krona wails as he charges for Azura. Krona, no dash. It's too late. Azura smirks as he grabs a hold of the pink-haired boy and throws him. He hits the ground with a giggle, but his blood is smeared on the ground. Krona. Maka cries out as she watches the boy chuckle, trying to get back up. Only to fall. His hand looks twisted. Broken. Azura starts to close his hand. Maka watches as darkness surrounds Krona, about to consume him. Ragnarok is almost gone. Please stop. Maka screams and the darkness stops. I'll give in to you, just stop hurting them. Ah, that's what I wanted to hear. Azura smirks as he turns to her. He outstretches his hand. This time Maka walks over willingly. She's tired of this. Her body is weak, so very weak. Your mother is waiting. Azura chuckles darkly. Mom. She puts her hand in his. His grip is tight as his jaw starts to unhook. He's going to eat her. He goes down and Maka closes her eyes. But the pain never comes. She hears a surprised yelp and a growl of pain. Maka opens her eyes to see Ragnarok standing in front of her. Azura is a few feet away from them now, but Ragnarok don't have a shoulder. He's fading so much, breathing so hard. What did I fucking tell you? He snaps as he grabs a hold of her. I said you can't fucking give up. I told you to fucking run. You can't fucking die, okay? You just can't fucking die. His grip gets weaker and weaker. Till he falls to the ground in front of her. His eyes are closed. He's barely there. Mako leans down and touches him, only able to heal one wound before Justin knocks her away from him. Krona catches her, his blood getting on her gown as he holds her close to him. This isn't good. Krona pants, his eyes shaking still, but she can see it's him now. Why you need to get out of here? The madness is too much for me and I keep losing control. Maka, I'm not going to let him take you. Krona, I can't leave you. You are going to die. Maka grabs a hold of him, shaking him. That's okay. He smiles sadly at her, the blood at the corner of his mouth. I will gladly die for you. Maka sees that emotion in his eyes and it hurts her. Now go, you crazy kid. Krona giggles again as he pushes her to the side and starts to march over to Azura and Justin. Hey butt faces. Let's fucking dance. Krona's grin is large. Maka's eyes are shaking. She's out of breath. She's tired. She knows Krona can't handle them. Mad or not. Justin chuckles as he sends Azura's scarves on him. Krona moves past them with ease before he kicks Justin in the face. The pink-haired boy grins at Azura. The demon is grinning back. I think I will claim you as well. Azura purrs as he grabs Krona by the face. Krona tenses but he can't move. Azura is hit by a rock. It shocks him enough that he lets go of Krona, the boy moving away from him in fear. Get the fuck off of him. Ragnarok pants, he's not as faded from her healing him. He's my fucking bitch. Krona looks over at him with something flashing through those pale blue eyes. Why do you care for him? Azura looks over at the raven-haired boy and smirks. If he dies you will finally be set free, you won't be stuck to him anymore. Krona bows his head. I don't fucking give a shit about that. Ragnarok snaps, his voice dark. You don't fucking touch him or her. Your fight is with me, asshole. Krona lifts his head up, looking at the other boy with his eyes slightly lighting up. With realization, with understanding. Why you don't care about being stuck to me? Krona's eyes shake. It fucking pisses me off, but whatever. I'm stuck to you and you're fucking stuck to me. Ragnarok snaps. So you can get the fuck over that, Krona. You can't get fucking rid of me. That's when Krona smiles, it's so small but it's there. I never said I wanted to. Ragnarok's glare falls as he looks at the boy. You guys. They look behind them to see Maka about to be touched by Azura. Both boys' faces fall to a scowl. Ragnarok roars as he charges for Azura, tackling the demon away from her. Krona punches Justin in the face when he saw he was about to help Azura. Ragnarok fights the demon and Krona fights the bastard. And they're both fighting for her. They are working together this time. Not just fighting alone. But fighting together. Maka stands up, her heart starting to lift in hope. Maybe they can do this, maybe everything will be okay. Maybe they can destroy Justin and this demon once and for all. When her fingers twitch, Ragnarok and Krona give her a look. And she stops. They don't want her a part of this. But soon everything falls apart. Justin gets the upper hand on Krona. And Azura bites into Ragnarok's chest, ripping the place where his heart would be out. Maka watches in horror as the hole catches on fire. Ragnarok is in deep pain. This time when Azura hits him and he falls to the floor. He doesn't get back up. Ragnarok. Maka's cry dies on her lips as the demon turns towards her. Its smirk is devilish. It's over now. Azura appears right in front of her. No, it's fucking not. That voice screams as her power goes out. A explosion happens between them and both Maka and Azura are sent flying. Maka hits her back hard against a tree. She's panting. Ragnarok doesn't move. Krona is still struggling with Justin. Maka is barely awake now. Her body hurts. Azura reappears in front of her. He doesn't even have a scratch on him. But he has a smirk. And she hates it. Time to say goodbye, Maka. Azura's hand is close to touching her face, his hand lighting up. Maka. Krona cries out and tries to run to her. Only to be held back by a grinning Justin. Krona's eyes are panicked. He's thrashing against the other boy to get to her. But it's no use. It's over. After all she's been through. She failed them all. Mom. Her eyes widen and with the last of her strength she points at Azura. Only for her hand to catch on fire. Maka screams as she puts it out with dirt. Shit. A rebound. She's at her limit. It's over. Completely. She failed. She failed Krona. She failed Ragnarok. She failed her mother. Maka stares up at Azura. The demon's smirk is ripping his face. He knows it's over. He knows there's nothing they can do. She is his. It's all over with. Maka has accepted it. Mom. Krona is crying now. Ragnarok is still laying on the floor. It's over. She failed. A single tear falls down her face. She's sorry. Just when Azura is about to touch her to seal her fate, the demon is knocked back by a force. And so is Justin. Maka and Krona's eyes look over at their savior. Maka feels sick. Medusa stands by her side now, her cold yellow eyes glaring at Justin. Azura. This isn't your time. Medusa speaks a chant very lowly. The blonde boy starts to scream and Azura fades away. Just like that. You have been very troublesome, Justin, it's time for you to die. A large smirk rips out onto her face, her serpent tongue coming out to lick her lips. The boy gets up to run. But Medusa points and he's stuck. I'm going to cut you to pieces and feed you to my snakes. She pulls out a scalpel and starts to walk towards the boy, her smirk so large. That's when an axe flies through the air. Medusa stops so it barely misses her nose. Her concentration must have been broken because Justin runs away. Messing with little boys, Medusa? That's so like you. A bubbly voice chuckles. Maka pukes in fear. Not him. Shit, not him. Maka looks over where the voice came from, her heart is beating so fast. The mayor stands before them, his voice was bubbly. But his face is serious, a fire in his eyes. He stands alone, no kid. Maka is only a little bit relieved at that. Oh, it's you. Medusa turns her attention on the man, her eyes becoming more focused. Howdy, he gives her a smirk before his eyes fall on Maka. Well, hello Maka, long time no see, huh? Too bad I'm going to have to kill you. Well, it's not bad at all really. His voice is getting darker, his fire growing. You hurt my son. I won't let my boy end up like me with a witch playing his heart. No, I will kill you so he doesn't have to deal with that. My poor boy couldn't even make it out here. Your time is up, Maka. Her teeth are chattering. The girl is mine. Metsua gets in front of her. If you wish to have her, you must kill me first. I suggest you go back home. Not without her head. The mayor grips his axes. He's glaring Maka down. Krona, take Maka to our new home. She looks over at him and her eyes light up. Krona's eyes light up and he grabs his head. Go now. Medusa walks closer to the man. I'll take it from here. How could you do this to my son? After everything, after all this, how could you? The mayor takes out a cross, one being around his neck. His voice is not so bubbly anymore. His burning eyes are locked on her. Krona limps towards the trembling girl. She has to catch him. He's weak and so is she. Maka can't look at the mayor anymore. It's too scary. He's a threat. And he reminds her of Kid. Reminds her of how things used to be. Reminds her of a time when she used to say at this man's house he made her cookies. He was at her mother's funeral. Now he's here to kill her. Staring at her with hate. Because she is a witch. It can never go back. It's not Maka's fault that you and your son are fools. Medusa smirks as she takes a step forward. Her hair moves a little as a strong wind blows past them. What kind of witch hunter can't tell two witches have been taking residence in your town for years? Better yet, you couldn't even tell the girl was a witch when she stayed at your home. I thought you were better than that, but oh well. Medusa's eyes flash, her smirk is so large. I've been waiting for this moment for so long, it's over for you, I'll finish what your wife started. The mayor's eyes flash at that, his teeth are grinding as he brings out another axe. He means business. Oh no you don't. You're not going anywhere. The mayor growls when Maka and Krona grab a hold of Ragnarok. Maka feels a power surround them. They're fading away. The mayor runs towards them. Medusa snaps her fingers and the man is sent back. Not before he throws an axe straight for Maka. They disappear fight before the axe impales her face. All she sees is darkness now. She feels Krona's hand in hers and Ragnarok's in the other. But their bodies are spinning. The force is too much and they end up being separated. Maka is in pain. Her hand hurts so much and her head hurts. She doesn't know what's happening. But she wants it to be over with. Maka stops spinning. The darkness gives way to light. Maka's eyes are closed but she feels she's laying on a hard surface. She opens her eyes looking around groggily. She's in a mansion? It looks like one, at least it's huge. Maka takes in the stairs with the red carpet, takes in all the old pictures of angels and the marble floors. Why does this place seem so familiar? Maka doesn't have time to think about it as her eyes fall on the pink and raven-haired boys beside her. Her breath catches. Krona lays on his side. His blood is soaking the floor. His face is pale and frozen in a grimace. Ragnarok's eyes are closed and he's almost gone. Maka tries to get up only to cry in pain and fall back down. She's going to lose them. Ragnarok is almost gone and Krona is bleeding too much. She can't lose them. They are all she has left. She's not losing her family. After all that shit. No. She refuses. Maka crawls towards them, grinding her teeth at the pain. She's barely conscious herself. But she has to save them. Ragnarok is almost faded away, he barely has any of his body left. He's in pain and so is Krona. Her chest is tightened in panic as she keeps forcing herself closer to the two. You're out of power. That voice pants. It's useless. Maka won't hear that. She stops beside the two. Maka puts her hurt hand on Krona and her other one on Ragnarok's forehead. You can't leave me. Maka closes her eyes. Krona is barely breathing. Ragnarok is seconds away from being gone. It hurts so much she tears fall down her face. But her power comes out. Maka feels her hands burn. Another rebound. But that's okay. You're a fool. That voice sighs as Maka falls down between the two boys. Both her arms around the two boys' necks. She's in too much pain. It all goes dark. What the fuck? Ragnarok groans, his head hurting like fucking hell as his eyes open. Everything is blurry for a moment but it hits him. Is he dead? Wait, that doesn't make fucking sense. Maka? He hears Krona's voice beside him. Maka? Ragnarok jumps up, his eyes getting focused as he remembers. The fight the demon pasting out. He fucking failed. His chest tightens in that fear he hates as he looks over beside him. Krona is holding Maka in his arms, looking at her with those shaking blue eyes. He looks close to tears. Ragnarok takes the girl. In the first place he looks is her chest. It's moving slowly, it is, but it's moving. She's alive. He can't help to sigh in relief. But then he takes in her state. Maka is pale and her hands. They're both fucked up. They look like they were caught in some sort of explosion. One is so bad he can see the bone of her finger. He feels a deep anger burn him as he looks down at his body. Not a fucking scratch. This bitch. Why does she fucking do this to herself? Why does she fucking hurt herself for him? He is already dead. Doesn't she get it? Doesn't she fucking understand? Ragnarok's piercing blue eyes take in their location. They are no longer in the forest but in a mansion. Krona. Ragnarok looks over at the other boy who is still holding the girl with such care. What the fuck happened when I was out? Where's the demon? Where the hell are we? I don't know. Medusa sent us here, she took care of the demon. Krona's voice is shaky as he looks down at her hands, then down to his. He frowns deeply at the hand that used to be broken but isn't anymore. That bitch actually showed up. Ragnarok grinds his teeth. Why fucking help us now when she wasn't trying to the whole time at the asylum? The witch hunter showed up. Krona mumbles as he moves a piece of hair from the girl's face gently. You got to be fucking kidding me. Ragnarok is fuming. But of course he fucking showed up. Maka had to use her fucking powers because Medusa didn't fucking help us till last minute. What the fuck is her game? Ragnarok punches the floor when he looks at Maka's hurt hands. His chest is tightening up. He is so fucking pissed. Krona doesn't respond to him as he gently rubs Maka's hair, trying to comfort the clearly in pain girl. Maka healed us. Krona takes a deep breath. She's hurt badly. Ragnarok, what are we going to do? Ragnarok looks over at the girl's chest again. It's barely moving. Her face is frozen in a grimace. And God, does he hate it. He hates everything about this. Ragnarok looks around at where they are. This place is huge. It would take him forever to search the place. And he doesn't want to leave her side. He has a bad feeling in his gut. Well, if he had one. He doesn't want to leave them. I don't fucking know. Don't look at me. He snaps. But Maka. Krona's eyes get watery. Don't fucking cry. That's not going to do anything. Ragnarok gets closer. Just fucking keep her head up and put your hand on that cut to stop the blood. You have a fucking body, I don't, so don't just cry about it. It doesn't do shit. Krona bites his lip when it started to quiver and does as the other boy said. Maka's breathing is a bit steadier as he readjusts her body. See. Ragnarok moves a piece of hair that got in her face. He wishes he could feel her now, wishes he could help her. But he can't do shit. And that pisses him off. This whole thing pisses him off. This is all fucking Medusa's fault. What the hell is she planning? Ragnarok glares off into space for a moment before he realizes he's stroking Maka's cheek. And that Krona is staring at him. What? Ragnarok snaps. Krona tenses and shakes his head quickly as his eyes skid away to look down at Maka. They're silent a moment. The only thing that can be heard is Maka's uneven breathing. I am sorry. Krona's soft voice breaks the silence. Ragnarok looks over at the other boy. His pink bangs are covering his eyes. I am sorry for all those things I said to you, for being a jerk. Krona continues when he doesn't say anything. I am not going to sit here and blame it on the madness. It was me just being jealous, and I shouldn't have said those things to you, Ragnarok. I am sorry. I don't know why the fuck you're jealous. Ragnarok glares away from him, a deep scowl on his face. You said it your fucking self. I'm dead. I don't have a fucking body. I can't even fucking feel her. It's not like I'm a fucking threat, so get over it. I know you don't want to share her with me. Hell, I don't want to fucking share her with you, but isn't this what she wants? All of us to fucking be together? So get the fuck over it and be grateful for what you have. Be grateful that you have a fucking body, that you can fucking feel. You have nothing to be fucking jealous about, nothing at all. His voice is bitter and he knows it. He can't look at Krona. He's getting pissed off just thinking about it. Ragnarok feels Krona's gaze on him now. He grips his fist. Ragnarok. He hears the pity in Krona's voice. Oh, he's about to fucking snap. Why, you just don't understand. Krona continues, his words are slow. I might have a body, but I can't do anything without you. Why, you're the strong one, the brave one, a badass, and Maka likes you. It's hard for me to deal with this when I know how you feel about her, how you want her all to yourself. Why, you might be a ghost, why you might not have a body, but you're more of use to Maka than I am. Why, you're more of a man than I am. Why, you can protect her while all I can be is your body. Krona takes a deep breath when Ragnarok looks over at him. The pink-haired boy looks nervous, his gaze shifting everywhere. It's true you're a bitch, but... Ragnarok runs a hand through his black hair. You fucking threw your own punches during the fight. That was all fucking you. You fucking fought your own battle. You can be fucking brave and you can hold her. Get over yourself. It's not like you don't want her all to yourself. I know if you had the choice you would fucking get rid of me. Stop acting like it's only me. His eyes catch on fire, his chest puffing up. It's true I'm jealous of you and this thing with you and Maka upsets me, but I don't want to get rid of you. Krona shifts a little as he looks down at Maka. It just hurts me after all this time why you were never around before her but now you're here all the time. It worries me to know that if you did have your body that if you weren't stuck to me why you would try to take her from me, why you don't want to be a part of us just her. Look, just because I fucking want something doesn't mean I'm going to do it. He snaps. And stop thinking about what ifs and think about right now. I am fucking stuck to you, I don't have a body, I'm dead. I can't take her so stop fucking stressing. Krona bows his head, his bangs covering his head. Why you still don't get it, do you? Get what? Ragnarok glares at the boy. It's not just the fact of you taking Maka, it's the fact you don't want to be a part of me. Why you don't want to be a family. Ragnarok's glare falls when Krona looks over at him, his blue eyes on fire. So go ahead and say something smart. Make fun of me. But I want a family, I want to be cared for, I don't want to know you would just leave me that you would just take her and leave me alone. Ragnarok stares at him a moment. His face is blank. You're such a dumbass, Krona. He glares at him again. You're such a needy bastard. Krona glares away from him but Ragnarok can see he's hurt. We are a fucking family. He growls, causing Krona to look over at him surprised. Can't you fucking tell? If I didn't fucking care about you I would have left your ass. I would have let that fucking demon kill you. Then like he said I would have been set free but I didn't, did I? No, I fucking stood by you. You piss me off so fucking much. What the fuck do you want from me? Krona stares at the fuming boy. A small smile comes to his lips. That's all I wanted, Ragnarok. He looks down at Maka. I understand what she was saying now. I realized when we were fighting Justin and the demon I need you and you need me and we need her. Without you I wouldn't be able to protect her and without me you wouldn't be able to protect her either. I know I'll still be jealous, I still won't like this but I can deal with it knowing that at least you care somewhat about me that you need me, like I need you that together we are protecting her, together we are a family. Yeah, whatever. Ragnarok snaps and glares, looking away. Stop with the gay stuff. It's making me sick. But it's not really. Maybe deep down he likes thinking he has a family again. But he wouldn't let it show. It's bad enough he told Maka he cares about her. Now fucking Krona. When did he become such a bitch? Oh okay. Krona gives him a small smile, a knowing smile. It's silent between them. But it's a comfortable silence. There's no tension. Maka's breathing is even now. Like she knows what just happened. Ragnarok looks back at her. Her face is still pale and her hands are still fucked up. Krona is frowning again as he rocks her back and forth, his eyes are starting to water. Ragnarok is getting pissed off. What the hell are they supposed to do? This bitch. Medusa suddenly appears in front of them, her yellow eyes taking them in with that cold look. Krona tenses at seeing her, his eyes shaking more. Ragnarok glares darkly at her. Medusa, Maka is dash. The woman walks over and touches Maka's forehead. Her hands heal and the color in her face returns. Krona lets out a sigh of relief as he holds her closer. But Ragnarok's glare doesn't fall. Excellent work you two, you did it. Medusa smirks as she looks at the two boys. It's only a matter of time before we wrap all of this up. What the fuck are you planning on doing to her? Ragnarok stands up, his eyes on fire. Do you want her to die? Why the hell did you tell me to tell them to jump when you knew I couldn't catch them? She would have died if she didn't use her powers. Why didn't you fucking help us? That's the point. Medusa chuckles. I knew she would use her powers. This worked out completely as I wanted it to. What the hell are you talking about? You told us to make sure she didn't use her powers. You're not making any fucking sense. Ragnarok is getting so pissed off. I told you that just so I could see what you could do, Ragnarok, and I'm very impressed. Medusa gives him a knowing smirk. You pushed yourself beyond your limit for the both of them. That roar you gave off when you thought they were going to die was very interesting. She chuckles and his face falls to the deepest scowl. She was fucking toying with them. That's all they are, toys. I knew you three would have trouble with Justin. I knew the plan would be a failure, and really I'm surprised it took Krona and Maka jumping off the building for her to use her powers. It was also very interesting to watch. Medusa smirks. I wanted her to use her powers because I wanted that man to show up, killing two birds with one stone if you will. Why didn't you fucking help us with Justin and the demon? Maka was almost fucking taken. Ragnarok knows his face is red from his anger. He knows she can see how pissed off he is. And she's fucking smirking at him. Well, I wanted to see what she could do by herself. I wanted to see her limit. Medusa shrugs. And I was waiting for the witch hunter to come, but it seems you and Krona weren't strong enough to hold them off long enough. So I had to step in. I was a bit disappointed at that. I thought you were stronger, Ragnarok. You, dash. But don't worry, this girl isn't going to die. She looks down at the girl and Ragnarok pauses. Why, you're not going to hurt her? Krona looks up at her hopefully. He's holding Maka against his chest. Of course not. Medusa chuckles. She's much too valuable for that. No, don't worry. I have bigger plans for her. Krona frowns and Ragnarok grips his fist. Maka has had a long day. Take her to the guest room for tonight. Medusa nods her head to a door on the right. Tomorrow I will give her a proper welcome to her new home, to her new life as my daughter. Krona looks away at that, his eyes getting glossed over. We have much to do with her. Medusa crackles. This is the beginning of the end. She smirks over at them as she fades away. Get some rest, the both of you, you're going to need it. Then she's gone. This fucking bitch. Ragnarok punches the ground, his breathing is jagged. She knew the whole fucking time she was fucking using us, toying with us. Let's get Maka to bed. Krona puts Maka's arm around his shoulder. Ragnarok moves and puts her other arm around his. They stand at the same time. She's limp against them. They're finally out of the fucking asylum. But it doesn't feel like a victory. If anything, there's someplace worse. Ragnarok doesn't know what's going to happen. What Medusa is planning on doing with Maka. And neither does Krona. But they're here. They're here together. And right now that's all that fucking matters. Krona and Ragnarok work with each other to carry the girl carefully towards the room. Together. But the raven-haired boy's chest is still tight. He knows this isn't going to end well. It can't. He wants to not care, but he does. He cares a lot. And it's pissing him off. Medusa doesn't want to kill her. But then what does she want? There's more to it than this. And he knows it. She wants something more than her just being her daughter, her heir. He can see that dark glee in her eyes every time Medusa looks at Maka. And the fact that she would risk Maka's life just to see what she can do, to see what he can do, says it all. Is she fucking lying about not killing her? And this whole demon situation. It's all too much. And it's pissing him off. It's going to be okay. Krona speaks, but it's to himself. He's trying to reassure himself. But Ragnarok doesn't believe that. And neither does Krona. This can't end well. And they both know this. Their hands are stained red. Chapter 40. How stupid can you be? That girl growls in the cage, sending Maka a deadly glare. Maka just ignores her, tapping her fingers against the chair. The other girl has been going off for some time now. But Maka doesn't care. Her green orbs boredly take in this small dark room full of spider webs. Now there's a black substance on the floor. It's thick, but Maka isn't going to clean it up. This place is already a dump, why not add some black shit to it? You're ruining us. That girl screeches. It's obvious when you have a rebound that means you're out of power. You don't go any farther, but you did, and for what? Those two boys? It would have been better if you let them die. They're my family. I'm not going to just let them die. Maka grunts as she plays with the black stuff with her feet. I'm not stupid. I know what I was doing. Get over it. And look at this place. That girl growls, looking at the black stuff on the floor. You're just letting this place go to hell, aren't you? The spider was one thing, but now this? Soon this room will be overwhelmed with shit and you won't even be able to find your way out. It's not my fault it looks like this. Mako looks over at the girl. I haven't done anything. This is completely your fault. You keep taking things from that witch. She snaps. You took that spider, now look at this place. And you drunk that liquid. The girl blinks. Actually, those boys made you drink that black stuff. Her eyes catch on fire. It's their fault that this room is in such bad condition. That one boy gave you the spider too. They are trying to lead you to ruin. They are just following orders. Maka kicks her feet in the black stuff. I had to take that spider and drink that liquid to survive. Are you sure about that? The girl challenges. Or are they lying to you? All you need is me, not all this extra stuff. You must remember that these two boys are pawns of the witch. They cannot be trusted. If they just follow her orders, what's to say if the witch tells them to turn against you that they wouldn't? They wouldn't betray me. Maka waves her off. What's to say they haven't already? You just hate the fact that I care for them. Maka snaps. No matter what you say, it's not going to change anything. You're letting your feelings cloud your judgment. The girl growls. Use your head. They're ruining us. They will be the death of you. It's more likely I would kill them before they would kill me. Maka waves her off again. I know they wouldn't do anything to hurt me. You're in denial. The girl grinds her teeth. You're being so incredibly foolish. But the witch will help me out soon and I will destroy these feelings you have. A witch doesn't need them. You don't need them. Maka just ignores her, kicking her feet in this black stuff like if she was at the beach kicking her feet in the ocean. But it's not water. She doesn't know what it is. You're not even listening to me. The girl sighs. Oh well, it looks like we have a visitor. Maka hears the door open behind her. She looks back. Maka feels her chest tighten. Justin walks in, his blue eyes on fire. He isn't in the asylum's gown but a black priest robe. Vertical eyes are on the sleeves. This isn't over. Just because you are under Medusa's protection doesn't mean you're safe. He takes another step closer. You belong to Azura and I will not rest till you are dead. Seriously, this place is already crappy. I don't need a piece of shit like you in here too. Maka grunts as she stands up, the black liquid is up to her ankle. I'm not staying long, I just wanted to let you know you are going to fall. A large smirk rips out on his face. Your old friend will be the death of you if I'm not. Oh, he's coming soon and he is a vengeful spirit. What are you dash? Justin's hands light up as he touches the floor of the room. The black liquid responds and before she can do anything she's sinking into it. It's like quicksand. Maka can't fight it and she's sinking into this black stuff. Ask yourself now, is Medusa really on your side? Justin's smirk is too large for his face. Or is she on ours? Maka sinks completely in this black stuff. For a while she can't see, can't breathe. Then it all goes away. Maka opens her eyes. She's in a forest. And she's laying in something wet. Maka looks down at her hands to see they're covered in blood. She's laying in blood. Maka sits up in alarm and looks around trying to find the source of it. Her eyes fall on the back of the mayor. He lays limply on the cold forest floor, his blood staining the grass, staining her. He doesn't move. Maka can't see where he's bleeding from, but it must be a bad wound. A part of her is relieved to see this while another part is upset. The moon shines down making the blood reflect her face. She's grinning from ear to ear. That's when she hears the cracking of a branch. Maka looks up. Her stomach drops in fear. Kid stands in front of his father now. He's frozen. The look on his face, complete horror, complete disbelief. Father. His voice is no more than a whisper. The mayor doesn't respond. Father. Kid cries out as he runs to the man, kneeling beside him. He doesn't care he's in blood. Kid holds his dad in his arms, looking over the wound she can't see. He shakes the man desperately. But the mayor doesn't respond. Kid's hands are getting stained red. His eyes are shaking so bad. Then he does something Maka didn't think she would ever hear Kid do. He howls. Howls in pain and anger. His eyes. Oh, she will never forget them. A mixture of sorrow and hate. Kid's breathing is jagged as he takes the axe next to his fallen father. He stands up, his bangs covering his eyes for a moment. I should have been here with you, maybe if I was then you wouldn't have. His voice cracks. I'm so sorry father, I failed you, but... He looks up with that hate burning those golden orbs. I will avenge you. I will not hold back, I won't let your death be in vain. Kid turns towards her and he points his axe at her, his glare is dangerous. You hear that, Maka? I'm coming for you. I will show you no mercy. Kid is roaring. And Maka is cowering. She sees hot tears fall down the boy's face though. Kid's golden orbs shake, his teeth bared. The last thing she sees is 3 large vertical eyes staring down at Kid. Before it all fades away. Her chest is on fire but she can't stop laughing. The fear fades away and she's left just steady laughing. Because it's so funny, you know. It can never go back. When she reappears. She's back in that forest, but it's different. It's red. And Kid is standing before her with his axe ready. His eyes are on fire and she knows he sees her. He looks dangerous. He is dangerous. Maka, your time is dash. Maka doesn't let him finish. She turns and starts to run away. She moves her ass. Maka can hear his footsteps behind her. He's fast. She has to be faster. But at the same time she can't handle being chased. Help. Maka screams as her legs give on her. Kid will be on her in any second. She looks up in desperation. Only to see Krona and Ragnarok looking down at her, both with blank expressions. Guys. She cheers in hope, her eyes lighting up. Save me. They don't even blink. Don't move. Sorry Maka, but we haven't gotten the order. Krona mumbles. You're on your own. Ragnarok grunts coldly. Maka can only stare up at them in disbelief. But Maka is grabbed by her hair and turned around roughly to face the burning eyes of Kid. These are the 2 boys you denied me for. Kid growls as he brings up the axe. I was loyal to you. These 2 don't know the meaning of loyalty. How could you do this to me, Maka? How could you take everything away from me? A tear falls down his face but the hate shines through. Now I'm going to take everything away from you. Oh, you're going to feel my pain, which and these 2 boys won't even stop me. Krona. Ragnarok. She pleads with them as she struggles with Kid. He's lifting up the axe. They just stare at her. A snake wrapping around the both of them is looking at her with dark glee. It's over. Kid roars as he brings down the axe. Everything fades away before he can deliver the blow. Now she's in a home. But Maka starts running. She knows Kid is here. Maka busts into a room. Only to see the back of Ragnarok. She takes a step forward only to feel something wet on her feet. Maka looks down, it's blood. And it's everywhere. So you fucking came here. Ragnarok growls as he turns around. His nose is bleeding, the cut on it is open fresh. There's a cross around his neck. He looks in so much pain. Our Ragnarok dash. No. Don't fucking call me that. He screeches as he throws a chair at her, which she dodges. What have you fucking done to me? Maka can't speak, she can only watch in horror. His body is falling apart. Piece by piece, as if he was cut up in such a precise way. His blood is pouring down, staining the floor. His piercing blue eyes fall out and stare at her on the floor. Her eyes are shaking and she doesn't know what to do. She's frozen. Do you want me to fucking relieve this? Stay out of my mind. Stop making me remember. He's roaring at her, roaring in pain. Maka can't respond. Get out. A force sends her flying out of the room. She hits a wall and the door shuts. Maka hears footsteps and she knows Kid is coming. She gets up and starts running again. When she runs into another room. Hey Maka. Krona smiles goofily at her, gripping a hot poker in one of his hands. Krona. Maka eyes the weapon cautiously. That's when the door slams shut behind her. Maka swallows the lump of panic. It's just Krona. He wouldn't hurt her. I've been thinking. He looks at the hot poker, his smile growing. I think I have the solution to all our problems. And what's that? Maka watches as he walks slowly towards her, that smile never leaving his face. Well, he gets in her face, his smile is too goofy. First things first. Do you love me yet, Maka? She doesn't respond. Krona's smile twitches a little, almost falling, but it doesn't. Don't worry. That's okay. Krona starts to laugh and it sends chills down her spine. I have the solution. Krona, you dash. He grabs her hand. And it's bone-crushing. Maka yelps in pain as he leans closer. His grin is too large for his face. Don't back away from me, Maka, we wouldn't want someone getting hurt now, would we? His eyes narrow a little. She shakes her head and bites her lip at the pain. Good. He cheers back up, his voice a hum as he lifts up the hot poker. So are you ready to hear my plan, Maka? Huh? Are you? He giggles madly, his eyes shaking. Maka can only stare at him, eyeing the poker that is getting too close for comfort. You won't give me your heart, so I'm just going to take it. He lifts the hot poker, aiming it to her chest. Then he stabs her. Maka cries out in pain as the poker burns her, piercing through her flesh and rib cage. Then he yanks out. On the end of the poker is her heart beating slightly against the metal. Maka falls, the pain unbearable. It's beautiful, isn't it? Krona smiles at the organ and kisses it, the blood getting on his mouth. See, Maka? Loving me wouldn't kill ya. He looks away from the heart to stare down at her. Maka is pale, bleeding out of her chest. Oh, PPs, well, maybe it would. He giggles, but tears start to fall down his face. See, Krona? She groans in pain, her voice a croak. The boy turns his back from her, holding her heart in his arms like a baby. She can hear that he's still crying, but he's laughing at the same time. Maka's eyes roll back. She doesn't have a heart. She keeps bleeding. Maka dies. And she dies by Krona's hand. Everything fades away. Maka wakes up screaming. She puts a hand to her chest. But there isn't a hole, she isn't bleeding. And she feels her heart beat inside of her. Maka lets out a relieved sigh as she wipes the sweat from her brow. That dream. Maka shivers as she holds her knees to her chest, taking deep breaths to calm down. Damn. It's not like she hasn't had bad dreams before with her dying. But it's 10 times worse with the fact that Krona killed her. Maka keeps her hand on her chest, her heartbeat is calming her down. It's okay. She's alive and that didn't happen. Krona wouldn't hurt her. Maka looks around where she is finally alright enough to realize she's in a room she doesn't recognize. It's a small room and it's plain. But the bed is nice. She looks down at the red carpet. And she remembers. They made it to a mansion and... Maka looks down at her hands. Completely healed. What happened when she was out? And where are Krona and Ragnarok? Maka is about to get up. When the door to the room opens. She tenses and glares towards the door as Medusa steps in. Welcome, Maka. I hope you slept well. She smiles at her. I know this room isn't the best, but don't worry, this isn't where you will be staying. It was only temporary. I had to prepare your permanent room. I only want the best for you, my child. Don't call me that. Maka snaps. I understand. It's too soon, isn't it? Medusa's smile doesn't fall, that fake sweet look on her face. In time you will think of me as your mother. I already think of you as my daughter. That isn't happening. Maka grunts. I already have a mother and you're not her. No, and I will never be the mother Kami was to you. Her eyes flash slightly. But I assure you. I will protect you and I will give you anything your heart desires. I will make you strong, Maka. You will surpass your mother. Maka glares away from her. She hears the doors open again. When she looks over, she sees Krona and Ragnarok walk in. They stand on both sides of Medusa. The pink-haired boy looks nervous and Ragnarok, of course, looks pissed off. She feels a bit more comfortable with them in the room. And when she looks into Krona's innocent blue eyes, all her fears from the dream are destroyed. He would never hurt her. Never betray her. How are you feeling, Maka? You had a long day yesterday. Medusa sighs. I'm sorry I couldn't get to you sooner, I was held up, but that's no excuse. Ragnarok gives her a dark look. You never cease to amaze me. Without your powers you were able to get out of the asylum, and you were able to fight Azura and Justin even without any training. Medusa smirks. Only imagine what you will be able to do after I am done with you, my dear. What happened to Kid's dad? Maka finds herself asking as she takes in Medusa. There's not a scratch on her. You don't have to worry about that man anymore. Medusa smiles at her. I took care of him. A deep dread grips her heart. But she smiles and it's large. Maka giggles, her eyes shaking. I'm so glad I made you happy. Medusa smirks as she walks closer, both Ragnarok and Krona tensing as she starts to rub Maka's cheek. Maka doesn't push her off, she just laughs. Ragnarok, go fetch my trophy, let her see it. Medusa holds Maka in her arms. The raven-haired boy grinds his teeth, but he disappears. When he reappears he holds a jar. A jar with a heart in it. Maka's chest tightens at seeing his. But she only laughs harder into Medusa's arms. The heart of a witch hunter, my, we could do so much with this. Medusa coos as she runs her fingers through her hair. And it brings you joy, doesn't it? To see your enemy's heart at your disposal, it's all yours, my dear, I'm giving it to you. Maka can't stop laughing. Krona is frowning deeply, his eyes shaking. Ragnarok grips his fist and looks away from her. Go put the heart back in the star room, put it in the cabinet. We will use it later. Medusa nuzzles the top of Maka's head. Ragnarok disappears without comment. You're so happy already, Maka, but your joy is only beginning, you will have everything. Medusa coos. Maka's shaking eyes finally fall on Krona. The boy is looking at her with worry, concern, and fear all the same time. This gets her to stop laughing. Maka pushes Medusa off and pants, getting a hold of herself. The woman sends Krona a cold look which he cowers away from. Ragnarok reappears, his piercing blue eyes falling on her. And she can see the relief in them, relief that she isn't laughing like a maniac. We have a long day ahead of us, Maka. Medusa turns from glaring at Krona to look at her sweetly. I must introduce you to your new life, I must show you around your new home, but first, let's get you out of that. She eyes the white gown Maka is wearing as she stands up. Yeah, that would be nice to have some different clothes. Maka grips the white gown. That's in the past. Dark Side Asylum is in the past. This is her future. A future with Medusa. The woman snaps her fingers. And the white gown is replaced with a black dress. It's short with the end puffing out like a tutu. It's barely covering her upper thighs, and she knows if she bent over she would be all exposed. Maka runs her hands over the material, looking down at it. It feels like silk. Here. Medusa snaps her finger and a mirror appears in front of her. Maka blinks as she takes herself in. The dress looks like something you would buy for Halloween. It's revealing like a Halloween costume, that's for sure. The dress is black with some lines of green in it that matches her eyes. It's low cut and so freaking short. But it's cute. Mac turns around to look at her butt. The dress is barely covering it. Not caring that Medusa and the two boys are in here, she lifts the dress up. And she's wearing snake print underwear, but her ass is hanging out. Do you like it? Medusa touches the silk fabric, looking at Maka through the mirror. I made it myself. The fabric is special. It will help you with channeling your power and controlling it. Could you make it any more revealing? Maka grunts as she puts down the dress. Trust me, just the dress works wonders. Medusa chuckles. Look at the effect it's having on them. Maka looks over at the two boys. Krona is blushing so darkly, looking away from her as he shifts. Some blood is falling from his nose. Ragnarok is still looking at her, but she can tell he's affected. His cheeks are the faintest pink, and when he sees she's looking at him, his face gets redder and he glares away from her. A witch must be sexy. Medusa chuckles when Maka looks back at her. It helps in the manipulation of men, and it's always useful for a distraction. Remember, a witch relies on her charms and her lies to survive. PSSH, I didn't need this dress to be sexy. Maka does a little dance in the mirror. My ass is already stunning. She licks her finger and puts it to her hip, making a sizzling sound. Oh yeah, hot to the touch. Bitch, you aren't all that. Ragnarok glares over at her, but she still sees that pink. You already have a fat ass head, don't want to swell anymore, do you? Admit it, Ragnarok. I'm sexy. She smirks at him as she does a pose. I am not admitting shit. He growls, but oh yeah, she definably caught that stutter. And he looks pissed about it, especially since she's laughing. Oh yeah, you're totally hot for my lumps. Maka gives him a wink as she bends over slightly and pushes up her chest. Bitch, the only lumps you have are those fat rolls in your stomach. Ragnarok snaps, but she sees his cheeks get a little redder. Maka gives him a grin and he glares, looking away. You're so fucking goofy. He grumbles, but she can see he's trying to hide that crooked smile from her. I am not. She pouts as she looks over at Krona, who is trembling. Krona, you think I'm sexy, don't you? The pink-haired boy makes a gurgle sound in response. Ragnarok looks over at the other boy with his eyebrow raised. Krona's eyes look out of focus, but his body tenses when he sees all eyes are on him. His face is so red and he's looking everywhere but her. Maka smirks. Oh Krona, her voice is teasing. Why won't you look at me? Am I that ugly? And no, his eyes fall on her and he lets out a squeak, his body tensing up so bad. All Maka had done was the same thing she did to Ragnarok, pushing her chest up slightly, but this is highly effective on the pink-haired boy. Critical damage. Krona's eyes take her in. Blood comes a bit more out of his nose as he makes another squeak. The boy falls back, hitting his head against the wall with a thud. His eye twitches slightly as he stares up at the ceiling. Maka is cracking up. Krona, did you fucking die? Ragnarok can't help but to smirk. Damn, you're acting like you haven't seen tits before. She did the same thing to me, but you don't see me pasting out like a bitch. Don't look at her. Krona twitches to life at that as he stands up and pouts at the other boy. Why, you pervert? I'm the pervert? I'm not the fucking one bleeding out my nose. Ragnarok grins when Krona squeaks and covers his nose. I just got surprised is all. He protests, his face so dark. Sure. Ragnarok smirks. That's why you're still bleeding out of your fucking nose. It won't stop. Oh Krona. Oh god. Krona blushes at her teasing voice, but he doesn't look at her. If you were just fucking surprised, why don't you look at her now? I just dash. If you're not going to look at her, I fucking will dash. And no. Krona looks up to glare at him. His eyes fall on Maka, who is giving the pink-haired boy a wink. Krona's gaze shifts, his face is getting so red. What's wrong, Krona? Can't handle my lumps. And no, I can't. He whimpers when she pushed up her chest again. Both Maka and Ragnarok laugh. You're such a fucking bitch, Krona. Oh yeah. Krona pouts, his small chest puffing. What's with that pink on your cheeks, Ragnarok? My cheeks aren't fucking pink. The raven-haired boy snaps, his eye twitching slightly. Oh, but it is. Maka pokes the boy's cheek and he smacks her hand away, glaring at her. Maka smirks. You can't handle my lumps either. Bitch, stop saying that, it's fucking weird. Ragnarok growls as he takes a step away from her, but that pink grows in his face. Ha. Krona jumps in victory as he points a finger at Ragnarok. Why, you can't deal with them either without getting messed up. I am not the only bitch. Of course not, Krona, you're both my bitches. Fuck the both of you. Ragnarok's chest puffs up as he gives them both the middle finger. I'm no one's fucking bitch. If he doesn't want to be your bitch, Maka. Krona makes sure not to look at her body as he hugs her arm, looking up at her. I'll be your only one. It might have to be that way. She hums as she rubs his cheek. Ragnarok doesn't want to listen to his pimp. You're the fucking bitches. Ragnarok's eye is twitching as he marches over to the two. I'm no bitch. I'm the fucking dominant. I'm the fucking pimp and you're my bitch. Are you so sure about that? Maka grabs the raven-haired boy and pulls him closer, she's speaking close to his lips. I'm pretty sure I'm the dominant, unless you want to prove me wrong. She feels him take a intake of breath. You don't want to go there with me, bitch. His voice is dark, his piercing blue eyes burning into hers as he grabs her neck. But I do. She purrs. And no you don't. Krona pouts up at the two as he wraps his arms around her trying to pull her closer to him. But Ragnarok holds her neck keeping her there. Interesting. Medusa smirks over at the three when they turn to look at her. My Maka, you are a natural. Maka can hear the pride in her voice, pride for her. Ragnarok and Krona tense at seeing her like they forgot she was there. They both let go of her. Yeah, I'm just a natural when it comes to working these lumps. Ragnarok gives her a annoyed look but Krona blushes darkly. Yes, quite. Medusa gives her a creepy smile. Way to kill the mood. Now Maka feels like covering herself up. Ragnarok gives the woman an odd look. Now that's out of the way, let us move on. Medusa looks at her normally again. This is a big place, so I will not bore you with showing you every room. Just the important ones. Medusa turns and starts to walk out of the room. Wait. She looks back at Maka. What about Krona? Maka looks over at the boy who tensed up. He needs some new clothes too. I suppose you're right. Her cold eyes fall on her son. It's really okay dash. And make sure it's boys' clothes, not girls. Maka's eyes narrow at the woman. He is a boy after all. Maka. Krona tenses as he looks over at the woman in panic, his eyes shaking. But surprisingly she doesn't seem affected by this. She actually smirks. As you wish, as I said, I will give you anything you desire. She snaps her fingers. Krona's gown is replaced by a white shirt with jeans. The jeans are baggy but the shirt is a bit tighter. It's weird seeing him in something different. But Maka likes it. Actually, could you make the jeans tighter? Maka hums. Maka. Krona's face gets red at that. But Medusa snaps her fingers. The jeans get a lot tighter, they're hugging his thighs. A pervert smile comes to her face. She can only imagine what his ass looks like. Oh. Krona blushes darkly as he messes with the jeans, trying to stretch them out. And could you change his outfit so it matches my dress? Maka grunts, studying the boy. She doesn't really care about the boy's clothes this much. But she's testing Medusa. Seeing how much she can get away with. Medusa doesn't look irritated at all, she just snaps her fingers. Krona's outfit changes. The white shirt is replaced with a black one with green in the places her dress has them. His jeans get a darker shade. Maka likes. Looking good, Krona. She gives him a thumbs up and a wink. The pink-haired boy looks so pink in the face as he looks down at himself. He seems nervous and a bit uncomfortable. But she sees the relief in his eyes as he looks down at the outfit. Because he's dressing like a boy. He isn't going to be made to dress as a girl. Maka wouldn't allow that. That's so much fucking better. Ragnarok grunts, looking at the other boy with his piercing eyes. I was getting so fucking tired of that gown. You're telling me? Both Maka and Krona sigh. So the outfit is to your liking. Medusa looks over at her. Oh yes, I like very much. She winks at Krona again, causing him to fluster. Good. Now let us go. Medusa walks out of the room. Maka grabs Krona's hand and Ragnarok's. The raven-haired boy rips his hand away from hers. She raises an eyebrow at the boy but he doesn't look at her. He's glaring away from her. Why, you okay, Maka? Krona whispers on her right and she looks at him. Why, yesterday was hard. Yeah, I'm fine. Maka smiles at him. I'm just glad all the shit is over. Me too. Krona can't help but to frown. They walk out of the room after Medusa. Krona's hand in hers but Ragnarok keeps his distance. Let me show you your room first. Medusa starts to walk over across the marble flooring towards the stairs with the red carpet. This place is fucking huge. Maka looks around at the ceiling, it's decorated with paintings of angels. Why yeah, I got lost a couple of times already. Krona blushes in embarrassment. That's because you're a dumbass. Ragnarok grunts. I had to fucking lead you back here so many times. It's not that confusing. Krona sticks his tongue out at the other boy. Ragnarok blicks. Did you fucking just do that? Do what? Oh, Krona. Maka smirks. You in trouble? Giga. And no, I'm not. He deserved it. Krona hugs her arm in fear anyway. I'll fucking rip that tongue out your mouth. Do it again. I fucking dare you. Krona shakes his head and buries his head in her shoulder. When Ragnarok looks away, Krona sticks his tongue out. Maka can't help but to chuckle. He looks so serious about it. Maka leans down and licks his tongue, causing him to squeak. Don't fall to behind. Medusa looks back at the three that are still at the beginning of the stairs. She waits till they make it to the top before she starts walking again. Maka takes in her surroundings. They're in what looks to be a hallway now, and the floors are covered in that red carpet. This place, it reminds her of the mansion in Resident Evil. Maka's eyes flash like that was some sort of hint. But she loses it. She's never seen this place in her life. Here we are. Medusa stops in front of a door that has a large green gem sticking out of it. The woman holds her arms out towards the door, inviting her to it. Maka looks at the door and it opens on its own. Mijua smirks at her using her powers as the three walk into the room. Maka's jaw drops. It's shit. Holy shit. The room is large, the size of a small house itself. The floor is covered in that red carpet like the rest of the mansion, but the walls are a beautiful blue color. The color of Krona's eyes. The bed in the room is fucking huge, bigger than a king size maybe? And it's covered in pillows and it looks so comfy. There's a white shelf full of countless books. Maka can feel her nerdiness kick in. The walls are adored with sliver designs and it goes great with the blue. It's beautiful. Do you like it? Medusa comes in smiling at the girl. Wow. Is all she can say. I got you a dresser. Medusa points to the large piece of furniture. It has many different outfits from you to choose from. This dress is only for around the mansion, and if you are fighting, you can choose a different outfit for when you take trips outside of the mansion. Holy shit, we're going to get to leave. Maka looks at her with wide eyes, not really expecting that. Of course. You are not stuck here. But I do ask that you tell me where you're going and that you are safe. Medusa smiles at her. This is your home, Maka. Not your prison. You are free to do as you wish, though I do have a couple rules. Alright, well, let's hear them. Maka looks over at her, but she still feels hyped. Krona looks as surprised at her from this information. Ragnarok just looks pissed off. You will have plenty of free days to spend around the mansion or outside of it, but you must train with me when I say it is the time. Medusa locks eyes with her. You must join me for dinner each night, and you must listen to me when I give you orders that are important. Medusa smiles at her. I will make you strong, Maka. I will make you invincible. Well, damn, that's all. Maka smirks, looking around at the room. This is pretty fucking sweet. Krona and Ragnarok give each other a look. Quite. Medusa seems pleased with this. Now, is there anything else you want in this room? Just say the word and it's yours. Well, I want this room to be Krona's too. Maka looks over at her. He's sleeping with me? I figured as much. Medusa snaps her fingers and another dresser appears. This is for him. This room and bed are a decent size for 2, maybe even 3. Medusa smirks over at Ragnarok when he tenses. Oh, he looks fucking pissed off. His teeth are grinding. Yes. Maka smiles and gives Krona's hand a squeeze. The boy is blushing so darkly, but he seems really happy about this. He doesn't want to be apart from her. And she doesn't want to be away from him. Anything else, dear? Medusa looks at her. How about a TV? The woman snaps her fingers and a flat screen appears. Fuck yeah. And a Wii with all the Just Dance games. It all appears next to the TV. And a PlayStation 3 system with all the zombie games there are. Done. I want some extra controllers for both systems, and I want a whole shelf of every horror movie there is in alphabetical order. Maka knows she's pushing it. Krona is giving her a nervous look and Ragnarok is watching Medusa carefully. But she just snaps her fingers and does what she says. Maka is going to keep pushing her. And can I get a hot tub? Well, there is already one downstairs in the spa, but if you wish to have one in here as well. Holy shit, there's a spa here. Maka's eyes widen when Medusa nods. Well fuck, never mind the hot tub then how about a disco ball? Done. Alright you're good. Maka's eyes narrow. How about a fountain of fucking soda? And I want the fountain to be of Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow holding the cup from the movie with the fountain of youth and that's where the soda is falling out of. Maka takes a deep breath. Both Krona and Ragnarok are looking over at her in disbelief. Oh yeah, she's pushing her limits. As you wish. Medusa doesn't even blink as she snaps her fingers. Now there's a fountain of Johnny Depp in her room. Maka walks over and licks the liquid coming out of the cup. It's fucking Mountain Dew. She has a fucking fountain of Mountain Dew with a statue of Johnny Depp in her room. Now that's fucking class. Ragnarok and Krona look dumbfounded. Anything else? Medusa smiles sweetly at her. She doesn't look irritated at all. Holy shit. Maka rubs her chin as she looks over at Krona. What do you want, Krona? This is your room too. I don't need anything, Maka. Krona shifts nervously. Being with you is enough. But I want to get you something. She pouts. Come on, Medusa is paying, it's free. Krona gives his mother a nervous side glance. Medusa is smiling at him and she nods her head encouraging him on. Krona calms down just a bit as his gaze shifts. He's thinking. Come on, Krona, anything that you want. Maka grins as she gives his hand a squeeze. I always thought those things you put on the wall and ceilings that glow in the dark were cool. Krona shifts nervously under her gaze. Oh yeah. Get a whole bunch of those things. Maka snaps at Medusa. Krona stares at her with his mouth open. He can't believe she just did that, but Medusa does as she said without comment. Medusa is her bitch and Maka is going to milk it. You want anything else, Krona? Maka hums. Come on. This room is too empty. And maybe some scissors. Maka looks at him a moment at the odd request, but then she remembers. He wanted her to cut her hair. Maka grins. Okay, I want a whole salon chair with everything I need to do hair. Maka snaps at Medusa again. And make sure we have working internet. I want my YouTube. Krona trembles in fear as he looks at his mother. But she doesn't look angry. She just does it. Anything else, Krona? And no. I am good. Krona looks around at this room with wide eyes. Okay, what about you, Ragnarok? Maka smiles over at the raven-haired boy. This is your room too. She already knows what I fucking want. Ragnarok snaps, sending the woman a deadly glare. Everything gets quiet. There's a deep tension now between Medusa and Ragnarok. Indeed I do. Medusa looks over at the boy. And who's to say you're not going to get it? What? Ragnarok's glare completely falls only for it to return deeper. Don't fucking play with me. I'm not. Medusa smirks at him. We'll see how everything goes, then I'll decide on giving it to you. Ragnarok looks baffled. Is there anything else you want, Maka? Medusa looks at her sweetly. Krona. The pink-haired boy shakes his head. Ragnarok. He shakes his head. Guess we're all good for now. Maka hums. Okay, if you need anything else, let me know, dear. Medusa still smiles at her as she begins to walk out of the room. Come, let me show you the rest of your new home. This is fucking awesome. Maka cheers as the three walk after the woman. Ragnarok is staring off into space. Why yeah. Krona shifts nervously. They all follow Medusa as she starts to walk back downstairs. Maka looks down the hallway. And she stops. What's in that room? Maka points at the door down the hallway. The door with a crescent moon on it. Oh, that. Medusa looks over at it with this faraway look. That's my laboratory. Can I see it? Maka stares at the door. She's seen this before, hasn't she? Krona tenses up and Ragnarok snaps out of his state. Not today. Medusa turns and starts walking down the stairs. But don't worry, you will be seeing it very soon. Maka frowns slightly as she stares at the door. She wants to open it now. Ragnarok pushes her so she's forced to start walking down the stairs. Both of the boys seem a little unnerved now. Ragnarok has even gotten closer to her. But he won't let her hold his hand. Medusa don't say anything as she leads the three to a door opposite of the guest room. The doors open by themselves and they walk in. It's a dining room. And it's already set like they're about to have dinner. I hope you like seafood because we dash. I fucking love seafood. Maka cheers, her eyes wide. Giga. Krona twitches at her shouting so loud. Damn, food gets you that fucking excited. Ragnarok grunts. You really are a fucking fat ass. Fuck you, Ragnarok. I don't even care, I love seafood. Maka smiles. Is that what we're having for dinner? Yes, crabs, shrimp, lobster dash. Stop. Maka rubs her eyes. You're going to make me cry. You got to be fucking kidding me. Ragnarok snaps, but his breath hitches at looking at her sparkling eyes. God damn, I have never met such a person that would fucking cry over food. Is seafood that good, Maka? Krona looks at her with wide eyes. Yes. It's fucking amazing. Maka shakes him violently, making his head whip back and forth. Oh okay, Maka. It's amazing. G getting dizzy. Krona groans slightly when she lets him go. Let us move on. Medusa smirks at Maka as she starts to lead them down the dining room. She points over to a large door on the side. This is the kitchen, but you don't have to worry about going in there. Only our cook goes in here to cook our meals. Maka nods as they keep walking. Now this is a room you will probably go in a lot. Medusa stops in front of a door next to the kitchen. The doors open and they walk in. Maka takes in the very small room. All there is a table, a large pot, a cauldron, some tubes, and a very large book sitting on a stand. There's also a large cabinet to the side. This is where you will be making potions. Medusa looks over at her. Once a week you must make at least one potion. When I feel you are ready, I will turn up the heat and make you make more. But I will be mindful that you are just a beginner witch. She looks over at the book. That has all the potions you will ever need to know in it. You just follow the directions and it's as simple as that. Medusa looks at the cabinet. And this is where you keep your ingredients. It already has some in there for you. The woman turns and walks out of the room. Maka studies it a moment longer before following the woman out. She tried to hide how much her fingers were twitching in the room, how much she liked being in there. But she thinks Medusa caught it. The woman is grinning from ear to ear. Krona looks nervous again. And Ragnarok looks pissed. He still won't take her hand. They walk out of the dining room into another hallway. There's many doors here. I am not going to show you everything, but I will tell you what they are, so if you wish to come back some other time to explore you may. Medusa points at one of the doors. This is the spa. It also has a pool if you wish to swim. She points to another one. This is the gym. Points to another. And this is the garden. Maka looks at all the doors as they continue to walk. They walk out of the hallway into another huge space like the front of the mansion. Now this is the most important room in the house. Medusa walks over to a door with 3 stars on it. When it opens, they all walk in. Maka's breath catches. Her fingers are twitching. This room is nothing but stone flooring with the top open up so she can see the sky. But Maka feels the strong feeling, she can feel the magic. She likes this room. This is where you will be training. Medusa smiles over at her twitching fingers. I have a gift for you. She snaps her finger and a large book floats in front of Maka. It has a crescent moon on the front. This book has all the spells a witch could ever learn. To the simplest spells to the nearly impossible ones. Medusa watches as Maka's lips twitch into a smile as she rubs her hand over the cover gently. This is yours. Every witch starting out has a book that they use to control their powers into spells, but when you get older and more experience you will be able to do it without one like me. This is your weapon, Maka. You are to take this everywhere you go. It's kinda big. Maka's smile falters a little as she holds it in her arms. And heavy. Don't you think it will be obvious I'm witch carrying a book like this? That's why I'm going to teach you how to hide it. Medusa takes a step closer. First I want you to concentrate, make the book float around you. Maka closes her eyes, feeling her power get activated. She opens them back up and watches as the book floats around her in a circle. Easy stuff. Now think about it disappearing but being with you at the same time so it may be invisible. Maka frowns. This sounds a bit hard. But her eyes narrow as she thinks about the book disappearing. Nothing happens. Keep trying. Musa looks at her patiently. Once you do this it will come natural to you. Maka take a deep breath. She thinks about the book fading away but being by her, floating by her. The book disappears. Great job, Maka. Medusa praises. Now think about it being back, summon it back to you. This part is easier and the book reappears right in front of her. Oh yeah. Totally badass. Wow. Krona smiles slightly, looking at Maka in awe. Ragnarok just scoffs. Nice magic trick, bitch. Fuck you, Ragnarok. Now concentrate and open the book, flipping the pages. Maka takes a deep breath and her eyes narrow. The book opens and the pages flip. Good. Now once you know some spells you will know what page the spell is, so all you have to do is use your power to flip to it. Medusa smiles at her. Now make it disappear again. Maka just looks at it and the book is gone. Much easier. We will come back here later when the moon is out. Medusa walks out of the room. Maka doesn't want to leave. But Ragnarok pushes her and Krona pulls her along. Maka is grinning from ear to ear. Her heart is pumping in excitement. She lets out a giggle. Krona looks over at her and frowns. Ragnarok doesn't look at her. The boy glaring off into space. He still won't take her hand. Maka keeps giggling as they follow Medusa. And Ragnarok still won't look at her. And Krona still looks worried. Yet the raven-haired boy won't take her hand. Again. Again. Krona cheers, his face flushed from his giggles. Well, alright. Maka smirks as she grabs a hold of the salon chair Krona is sitting in and for the 5th time in a row she spins him in it. Krona lets out a squeal of approval as he goes around and around. He's just a flash of pink and black. Maka is laughing too. He is just too cute, so easily amused. Ragnarok stands to the side watching the two with that irritated look on his face. His arms are crossed and after watching this for about the 5th time his eye is starting to twitch. Are you two fucking done with this? Ragnarok, don't be like that. Krona pouts at him as the chair comes to a stop again. Why, you should try this. It's so fun. I didn't know just spinning in a circle could be so exciting. The pink-haired boy is panting, his eyes bright. That's because you're mentally challenged. Ragnarok snaps. Like hell if I'm going to fucking spin on a chair like a fucking retard. Stop being such a butt face, Ragnarok. Maka grunts. Why yeah, Ragnarok. Stop being such a butt. You're the ones with ass faces, not fucking me. Ragnarok growls as he leans off of the wall and walks closer to the two. Maka and Krona look at each other. Before they give him their middle finger. Ragnarok returns it, both his middle fingers up to the both of them. Hey Krona, Maka smirks at Ragnarok. Wanna do another spin? Do I? Krona squeals, swinging his feet like a little kid. Okay, here we dash. Ragnarok pushes Maka so he's behind the boy in the chair. You want to fucking spin, Krona? Fine. The raven-haired boy has a devilish smirk on his face as he grips the back of the chair tightly. Yay, wait, Ragnarok. Krona cheered, his eyes closed, but when he opened his eyes and looked in the mirror and saw the other boy's smirk he squeaked in alarm. But it's too late. The raven-haired boy uses all his strength as he pushes the chair, spinning Krona. The pink-haired boy is going around so fast that all Maka sees is black. The chair itself starts to spin with him, not just the seat. Ragnarok is cracking up at the other boy's cries of fear. Stop. Stop. Krona growls when he hears Ragnarok laugh. I said stop, damn it. I am going to be sick. But it's so fun. Ragnarok speaks in a high voice to mock the other boy. Fine, I'll stop, yeah. The raven-haired boy sticks his foot out in front of the chair. It stops the spinning in a jerk movement and Krona is sent flying. The pink-haired boy lands on the large bed safety, but he groans and holds his head. His face is pale and he looks like he's about to puke. And Ragnarok is grinning like a jackass. That was fun, wasn't it, Krona? Fuck you. Krona growls weakly, holding his head. Ragnarok just laughs. His eyes are closed, and he's standing in front of the chair. Maka smirks. Time for some payback. Maka tackles the raven-haired boy. She takes him off guard so she's able to push him into chair. Maka sees his piercing blue eyes flash before she spins the chair violently so he can't get out. Krona saw what she was doing and he stumbles over to her to give his own push to the chair. The two smirk at the black blur before they look at each other and high-five. Oh yeah, their boss. They keep spinning it so the boy can't get off the chair. It's spinning so fast the chair itself is moving. Surprisingly, they haven't heard anything from Ragnarok, not a cuss or a growl. But oh well. Do you think he's had enough, Krona? Maka looks over at the boy. And nope. Krona laughs a bit evilly in Maka's book as he takes over the chair and keeps spinning it, leaving Maka standing by herself. Maka can't help but to chuckle. Even when he's getting revenge. He's adorable. Damn, Ragnarok is going to be pissed. Maka chuckles. Why's that? A husky voice speaks behind her. Because he's totally getting the shit spinned out of him. Maka chuckles out, not realizing she doesn't know who she's talking to. Ragnarok, what a douche. I'm a douche, huh? That voice growls in her ear. No. Ragnarok's the dash. Maka's chuckling dies on her lips as a hand wraps around her neck, her body being pressed against something. Boo bitch. She feels air as his lips smirk into her ear. Maka looks over at the chair. The chair Krona is still spinning. She just realizes that the black they have been seeing was the back of the chair this whole time. Shit. Krona dash a hand goes over her mouth, stopping any more words from coming out her lips. Did you forget I'm fucking dead? Ragnarok keeps growling in her ear. That little plan of yours backfired big time, dumbass. Maka's comeback is muffled by his hand. The girl wiggles in the raven-haired boy's grasps, but he just tightens his grip on her neck. Sometimes she forgets how strong this boy is, even for someone who is dead. She doesn't care how dumb this is, but she tries to bite the hand that's over her mouth. Ragnarok stops choking her as she makes growling sounds, still trying to bite him to make him hurt. That's when she bites her tongue. And she bites it hard. Maka cries out in pain as that metallic taste fills her mouth. The cry is muffled, but the boy holding her heard it. What the fuck is wrong? I'm not even hurting you. Ragnarok snaps as he moves his hand from her mouth and turns her around. His glare falls when he sees the small tears at the corner of the girl's eyes and he hears her sniffle. What the fuck? Why are you doing that? The raven-haired boy growls, but his eyes have softened a bit and maybe she sees a bit of concern. I pit my tivangui. Maka tries to talk without moving her tongue too much, but it just comes out as gibberish. What? He raises an eyebrow. Why the fuck you talking like that? Maka swallows the blood in her mouth. I bit my tongue. She sniffles as she sticks out the hurt appendage. Ragnarok just blinks at the little tongue that's barely bleeding. I was trying to bite your hand to get you off me, but I couldn't. And then I ended up biting my tongue. Maka huffs. Ragnarok stares at her a moment. He blinks. Then he blinks again. Maka watches as his lips start to twitch till he's giving her that crooked smile. Ragnarok starts to chuckle. It starts out slow and light till soon he's completely cracking up. But somehow this laughter sounds different and he's not smirking. He's smiling. Maka feels her heart speed just a bit as he puts a hand to his stomach and his eyes close. This laughter is light, soft. Hey, it's not funny. Maka pouts, but she can't help to chuckle with him. It really fucking hurt. You're so fucking stupid. The boy chuckles out as his head leans against hers, his eyes still closed and that smile still on his face. Just what the fuck, I'm fucking dead, but you tried to bite me and end up biting your tongue. And to make it too much, that look on your face, God. He laughs a bit more, Maka guessing he's remembering the look on her face. The look on my face. She keeps chuckling with him, but she keeps that pout on too. You looked so fucking serious about it, that fucking pout, and you stuck your tongue out and there was barely anything there. He keeps chuckling, that soft laughter on her face. I can't fucking believe That was just wow. It was serious. Maka sticks out her Toungyo to emphasize. It hurt like a bitch. And I was pissed off because I wanted to bite you. Not me. Her going off only gets him to laugh more. Maka opens her mouth to say something when she feels air on her cheek. Her eyes look over to see that Ragnarok is now stoking her cheek. You're too fucking cute. The boy chuckles out. Maka's cheeks tint a little as she looks at him surprised. She means this is Ragnarok we're talking about. He never gives compliments unless they're forced out of him. The raven-haired boy's breath hitches, his chuckling dying on his lips. His eyes shoot open there wide like he can't believe he just said that as well. The boy's forehead is still against hers, so his piercing blue eyes are all she can see. His hand is still on her cheek, but it's stopped its stroking. They stare at each other for a moment. Blue staring into green and green staring into blue. Maka expected him to back away from her, maybe even hit her. But he doesn't. Instead. What the fuck are you doing to me? He growls at her, his eyes flashing, but they're not hard. His voice sounds mean. But his eyes tell a different story. They hold that emotion in them, and it makes his piercing eyes lighter. Not darker. Maka's cheeks get a little darker and she thinks he notices. I don't know what your MMH. She started talking only for the boy to cut her off with his lips. It's a airy kiss again, but it's forceful. She falls back, laying on her back, the raven-haired boy getting between her legs as he keeps kissing her. Her arms find their way around his neck and his on her waist. But all she feels is air. It's too weird to explain. Soon Ragnarok growls in frustration as he pulls away. He looks pissed off again, a deep scowl on his face. Maka frowns and opens her mouth to say something. Maka, we have a problem. Krona frowns as he stops the chair, looking at how it's empty. Our Ragnarok was never in here. He turns on his heel and sees the two sitting on the floor. Ragnarok looks pissed off still. Maka is frowning slightly. What did I miss? Krona walks up to the other two, looking between them. Nothing. Nothing at all. Ragnarok stands up, Maka catching the bitterness in his tone. Oh, okay. Krona tilts his head at the other boy, a pout on his face. He's a bit suspicious. But right now it's best he probably didn't see that. Krona is quick to jealously. Ragnarok. Maka gets up and reaches out to the other boy. Don't you need to fucking cut his hair? The raven-haired boy snaps at her, his eyes on fire. Maka looks at him a moment. But he won't look at her, he's glaring, burning holes into the walls. Maka sighs in defeat as she walks over to the still confused Krona and grabs his hand, leaning him over to the small little salon in their room. She starts to get the scissors ready as Krona pulls the chair back over and sits in front of the mirror. He looks a bit nervous as he eyes the sharp scissors cautiously. He shifts in the chair. So what do you want me to do to your hair, Krona? Maka looks down at him. See, cut it. He looks at her with those big eyes. Yes, I know, but how do you want me to cut it? How short do you want it? Do you want layers? Do you want to keep that choppy look? Krona blinks at her. What? I'll tell you what you should fucking do. Ragnarok appears beside the boy, looking down at him. Shave all his hair off. What? And no. Krona tugs at his hair. I couldn't deal with being bald. I would be cold all the time, and I would have to buy a wig. Oh, or worse. His face pales, his imagination on overdrive. What if a eagle mistakes my head for a shinny egg and it swoops down and tries to eat me? Oh god, I don't want to be bird food. Shut the fuck up, Krona. Ragnarok snaps. Fine, don't shave your hair off, but at least dye that shit a different color. A different color. Krona frowns as he grabs a piece of his pink locks and looks at it. No, I like his pink hair. Maka gives the boy a kiss on the top of the head and he blushes. It's cute. See, Krona? It's fucking cute. Ragnarok grunts. Men aren't cute. But you're cute, Raggy. Maka gives him a wink when he glares at her. I swear, Maka, one of these fucking days. Ragnarok grumbles. Don't fucking call me cute. I'm a man and men aren't cute. Says the guy with the cutest nickname in the world. Bitch, I'm going to fucking kill you. Maka, do you like my pink hair? Krona looks up at her with those eyes. Yes, it reminds me of cotton candy. Maka leans down so she's whispering in his ear. I like cotton candy. Watch out, Krona. Ragnarok grunts. This fat ass might try to fucking eat your hair. If you like it, Maka, then I don't care what Ragnarok says. Krona blushes darkly as he shifts in his chair. I do like it, and we're just cutting your hair. We're not giving you a complete makeover. Even though he fucking needs one. Fuck you, Ragnarok. Do you know what you want done to you hair, Krona? Maka looks down at him and he tenses at both their stares. And not really, I just want it shorter. The boy mumbles and shifts. How short? Maka grabs his shoulder-length hair and holds it out from him to see. Gah. It's gotten that long. Krona frowns deeply. I want it all off. All? So up here. Maka moves her fingers so she's holding his hair between her index and middle finger, she stops it by his nape. Why yes. Krona nods, still looking at his hair with disdain. What about your bangs? My bangs? He looks up at them and blows that long strand out of his face. Why you want to cut my bangs? Well, I guess I don't have to. Maka studies him. I'm going to keep this choppy look you got going on, I like it. Do you even know what the fuck you're doing? Ragnarok watches as she grabs the scissors and comb. Hell yeah. I used to cut hair for people all the time, they were homeless, but it still counts. Maka smiles slightly as she starts combing out the knocks of his hair. It was Mom's idea. Ragnarok doesn't say anything, but his eyes stay on that smile on her face. Krona frowns slightly at that faraway look he sees in her eyes through the mirror. Why, your mother sounded like a great woman, Maka. Krona's voice is soft. She was. Maka parts his hair so only the nape is out and she pins up the rest with a clip. She pulls the hair down and cuts large chunks out, but she only trims the longer stands to keep them. She did everything for that town, it was like she couldn't sit still, she had to be helping someone out, had to be working. Ragnarok looks away from her and runs a hand through his dark hair. What else did you guys do? Krona's eyes widen a bit in panic. I am sorry if this is too much of me to ask, wasn't thinking, dash. It's fine, I like talking about her, it keeps her memory alive, you know. Maka puts down another section of hair and gets to cutting. Mom taught me to cut hair so we could style people up that didn't have money to get it done, and she taught me how to bake so we would go out and give baked goods to the hungry. We made churros to maize packs, hell we sang Christmas carols to the old and visited them, because Mom used to tell me people like to forget about the old, but it doesn't mean they don't exist. They might not remember everything, but they still feel. They still get lonely. Ragnarok's eyes flash a bit at that. Why, you guys are amazing. Krona looks at her through the mirror with big eyes. Why, you did all those nice things. Wow. The people must have been so grateful to your mother. Maka stops mid-cut. Her eyes flash slightly before she continues chopping the boy's locks off. She lets down the last section of hair and gets to work. They did appreciate my mother, they loved her. Maka's eyes get a faraway look and they start to shake. No one had anything bad to say about my mother, she gave any stranger a smile, she was someone it was impossible not to like. Maka's voice gets quiet as she keeps cutting his hair. But even after everything she did, Maka's hands are starting to shake slightly. When she turned insane, it was like everybody forgot about that. At first they pitied her, but soon they forgot about her and then they hated her. Her hands are shaking too bad that she can't cut, so she grips his hair instead, her breathing uneven. They didn't care that my mother fed them, that she was always there when they were down, that she always gave the brightest smile on the rainiest days. No. They forgot about all she done and they cast her away because she was ruled to be insane. Why, yet she didn't do anything to them, all she did was help them, and they so easily pushed her aside like she was nothing. Maka's voice is cracking and she hates it, but she can't stop now. And on her funeral. Maka sobs a little, her shoulders shaking at this. And no one came just because they thought she was insane, but that shouldn't have changed anything. But it did. They left her, abandoned her, and they didn't care. Oh, they didn't care at all because they thought she was insane because she made one mistake. Maka is silently crying now because she can't stop. Then they didn't even have the decency not to talk about her when she was dead, and no, they fucking made fun of her and talked about her death like it was a relief, a fucking relief. But what the hell were they relieved from? My mother, who did nothing but be there for all of them. She reaches over a shaky hand to pick back up the scissors only for Krona to grab her hand gently. Maka. He tries to get up to comfort her but she holds him down. And no, I can cut your hair, I'm almost done. She's still sobbing and she sounds pathetic, but oh well. Krona's eyes are glossy and he's sniffling a little, trying to stop himself from crying. Ragnarok can't look at her. T10 there's spirit. Maka's stomach twists in hate as she grabs the scissors and starts to cut the boy's hair again. My mother thought she loved him, she gave him everything and he was a good father, but after she was ruled insane just like everyone else, he abandoned her, cheated on her, hurt her. She is forcing her hand to steady as she continues to cut his hair. And then there's me. She's trembling. I was the only one that went to see her, but I believed she was insane. I abandoned her in my heart, she was all alone, she dealt with the demon for 2 fucking years, and she did it all alone in that place, in that room where the nurses looked at her more as an animal than a person. I abandoned her, she was all alone. Maka finishes the cut. Just in time, she can't do it anymore. Maka drops the scissors as she falls weakly to her knees. Her tears won't stop. She didn't think about this when it was all happening. It was too painful, but it all came back. All that she went through, her mother went through the same thing. But she did it alone. And she died alone. All alone. And for what? A daughter that abandoned her. It hurts too much. Krona is up and kneeling in front of her in a second, pulling her so she's crying into his shoulder. Maka feels another pair of arms wrap around her from behind and she knows it's Ragnarok. They don't fight each other to have her. They just both hold her, comforting her. Oh, one mistake is all it took. Maka sobs into Krona's chest. Then everything fell apart. I abandoned her and she knew it. She knew I didn't believe her, she knew I left her alone. I didn't get to say sorry, didn't even get to hold her to say goodbye. Neither did I. Ragnarok speaks suddenly, its soft understanding. My mother died while I was at a party. I felt like shit then, I fucking hated myself then, but I don't know if I would have wanted to be there when she died either, because I didn't want her to die. She feels him stroke her hair as Krona wipes her tears. Your mother already knows what you would have done if you could have. It would have just hurt more to sit there and watch as she took her last breath, watch as they fucking leave you. His voice gets a bit harder but it softens. She might be gone now, but you remember her, right? You like to talk about her and that's good. I'm living proof that there's life after death. You'll get your chance to say sorry to your mother just like I will someday. I hope you're right. I hope I do see her again so I can just tell her how sorry I am. Maka sniffles but she's stopped crying. Both of these boys are stroking her comfortably. Ragnarok doesn't say any more and he doesn't have to. Maka's heart is tugging for these two boys. The way Krona weeps with her, weeps for her as he tries to wipe her tears away. Then Ragnarok opening to her and stroking her hair. They both care. And she cares for them. She can't do this without these two boys. Her family. Thank you, both of you. Maka pulls away from Krona and turns so she can see the both of them. Sorry about that. Why, you're welcome, Maka. Don't be sorry. It's good to get all that out. Krona wipes his own tears. Don't fucking say sorry. Ragnarok grunts as he moves away from her. I'm used to you being a bitch. Krona sends him a dark glare only for it to fall when he hears Maka chuckle. Still an asshole, I see. Maka hums back to herself as she stands up. What did you expect me to fucking change? Ragnarok grunts as he stands up with her. Krona looks between them before a smile twitches onto his lips. Maka gives him her middle finger before she looks down at Krona. Look at you looking sexy with your new haircut. She gives the boy a wink and he squeaks. Really? He blushes darkly as he gets up to look in the mirror. Krona's eyes light up as he takes himself in. The boy's hair is a lot shorter now, so it's up on his neck, but it's still choppy and long in the front and sides. With the haircut and his new clothes, Krona looks like a boy, a cute boy, but you can tell he is a boy. Even if he has a ass that won't quit. Which, by the way, looks really nice in those tight little jeans he's wearing. Well, it looks a lot fucking better, I'll give you that, bitch. Ragnarok grunts. Suddenly Krona's lips go in a tight line the more he looks at his new haircut. A wave of insecurity hits her. Okay, maybe he doesn't like it. She hasn't cut anyone's hair in a long time, she was a bit rusty. Krona turns around to face her, his face is blank, his lips still in that tight line. Ragnarok raises an eyebrow at the other boy. So what do you think? Maka smiles at him nervously. Krona doesn't smile back. He takes a deep breath. Maka's eyes widen and she takes a step back. He looks like he's about to scream at her. Did she do that bad? Did she? I love it. Krona screams, his eyes lighting back up as a wobbly smile rips out onto his lips as he tackles her. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Krona. Maka giggles a little in relief as she spins with the boy, who is smiling from ear to ear. Why, you're so skillful, Maka. Krona giggles with her and they keep spinning together. I look like a boy. Or a ugly ass girl. Ragnarok grunts, but it doesn't stop the pink-haired boys cheering or spinning. You always looked like one to me, Krona. She pecks him on the nose and he blushes. And now with my new haircut, why you won't be able to resist me. Krona looks at her seriously and flips his hair. Maka giggles at him as she gives him a peck on the lips. Hell, I couldn't resist you before. She winks, causing his face to get so pink. I don't know, Krona, with these new clothes and this haircut and your ass, I don't know if I can control myself. She grabs his ass and that confident looks falls with how much he's blushing. Hell, look at Ragnarok. Maka looks over at the other boy and smirks. You see that lust in his eyes, Krona? He's totally lusting after your sweet ass right now. Ragnarok blinks. What the fuck did you just say? Giga. Krona twitches as he turns around so he's facing Ragnarok, covering his bottom with his hands. Didonti, look, you pervert. I wasn't looking at your fucking ass. Ragnarok's eye twitches. She's just being a fucking stupid bitch that I'm about to dash. Didonti lie. Krona glares at the other boy. I see it in your eyes. These buns aren't for you, honey. He flips his hair. Maka is cracking up now, leaning on Krona. She can't believe he just said that. Yeah, Ragnarok, these buns are just for me. Maka laughs as she gives the boy's ass a squeeze, causing him to squeak. Even though I know how much you want to bone him right now. Ragnarok blinks. His eyes flash and his face gets red from anger. Just for his face to go completely blank. I'm going to fucking kill you both. Krona, I'm going to throw you in a jailhouse shower where you're going to get ass fucked till you fucking die, and I'm going OT right on your gravestone. You died by getting ass fucked. Maka, I'm going to shove your face in that Black Star Kid's armpit and you'll fucking die from toxic flumes. Ragnarok speaks all this with a blank face, his voice calm as he takes slow steps towards them. Oh my god, Maka, run. Krona's teeth chatter a bit as he grabs her and starts to take off running, only for Ragnarok to grab her other hand, stopping him. Where do you think you're going? His face is still blank as he pulls her closer to him. You have someone's armpit to fucking sniff, dash. Our Ragnarok, just because you want my buns is no reason for this behavior. Krona snaps, but Maka can't take him seriously and she cracks up. This comment ruins Ragnarok's blank face, his eye is twitching now. I don't want your fucking ass, Krona. But I know all those assholes in jail will. Giga. Didonti even joke about that. Then stop saying I want your fucking ass. Give in to your desires, Ragnarok. Maka chuckles when he sends her a deadly glare. You know you just want to give that ham a squeeze. Bitch, you're the one who is fucking obsessed with his ass like a fucking creep, not me. Ragnarok grabs her by the neck and shakes her, but she's still laughing. At least I'm a creep in the open. You're still in the closet, dash. Bitch. Ragnarok screeches as he tackles her to the ground, but she's still laughing. I'm going to fucking dash. Didonti, kill her. Krona jumps into the pile. Jay, just because you want my buns doesn't mean dash. I don't want your fucking ass. Ragnarok jumps out of the pile, he looks so irritated. Maka and Krona look at him before looking at each other. Okay, fine, Ragnarok, we believe you. Why, Yeti, totally believe you. They both nod eagerly at him. Dumbasses. Ragnarok grumbles as he stands up. He's in denial. Maka whispers to Krona. Why, yeah, I know. Krona whispers back. It's so sad. You know I can fucking hear you. Ragnarok snaps. Maka and Krona look at him blankly. They move back a couple of feet. So like I was saying, he's lusting for your ass so much right now. Krona look at him, he can barely contain himself. What should I do, Maka? I don't know, but if you're not careful he might just rape you. That's fucking it. Ragnarok roars as he tackles the both of them. Maka is cracking up while Krona is chuckling with her. They both get a couple of hits from the fuming boy on top of them, but soon he stops and looks down at the two. They're both still laughing. You piss me off so much. You're so fucking goofy. Ragnarok growls as he gets up and walks away from them. Maka and Krona keep laughing, they fist bump. Ragnarok glares at this and gives him his middle finger. He burns holes into the floor. Only to hide how his lips twitched up into that crooked smile. The two didn't see it, but someone did. He let this side of him show without being aware that a hidden snake was watching it all. Watching him and catching that crooked smile. The snake's eyes shine with dark glee before it slivers away. The silence is deep, it's thick. Maka sits on the very end of the long dining room table. With Krona on her right and Ragnarok on her left. No one is talking. Maka is trying not to look straight. Because Medusa sits on the other end of this table right in front of her. Though she's far away, Maka can practically feel those yellow eyes on her. It's incredibly awkward. Ragnarok looks pissed off as normal, but he doesn't make any comments. And Krona is shaking like a leaf. Maka knows being around his bitch of a mother makes him nervous. Her hand is in his, giving him reassuring squeezes when she thinks he needs it. Maka doesn't know how long they have been like this. With no one talking, with the silence so thick, with Medusa staring at her with that smirk on her face. But she really wishes the food would get out here already. She's hungry and this situation is starting to piss her off. Maka doesn't like to be stared at. Especially by someone like her. Maka finally gives into the feeling and looks up at the woman. And she's straight staring at her, but not just staring. She's admiring her. Her lips curled up into that smirk. Maka stares back at her, but she knows she's glaring. They just stare at each other like they're having a fucking staring contest. Krona tenses and starts to tremble more as he looks between the two. Ragnarok crosses his arms and leans back in the chair, letting out a huff of frustration. No one talks. The silence is still thick, but this woman won't stop looking at her. Maka ends up losing the staring contest. She looks down at her plate, getting tired of looking at her. So Maka. Medusa finally breaks the silence, but her eyes never leave her. How do you like it here so far? Is it to your liking? Yeah. She answers, feeling a little awkward talking when it was just so quiet a second ago. It's cool, I guess. Cool. Medusa smirks and Maka can't help but to wrinkle her nose. It's like hearing old people trying to be hip. It bothers her just a little bit. Now it's quiet again. Can the food really just come already? Maka hears the pots and pans going crazy in the kitchen. This cook must be having a field day or something. Maka's green eyes start to wander around this dark room. It's only light up from the many candles that are burning on the table, giving Medusa's eyes a haunting glow. The table is set up with silverware. But it's so empty. The table is set for about 20 people, yet there's only 4 people sitting down. It just adds to the awkwardness of this situation. It reminds Maka that this place, this mansion, is so fucking huge, yet only 4 people inhabit it. Wait, no. If counting the cook, that's 5. So is there more people living here? Maka doesn't know how to feel about that. Ragnarok. Everyone tenses a bit at Medusa breaking the silence again. What? The raven-haired boy snaps, sending her a glare. He's looking at her suspiciously. You're staying for dinner? The woman raises an eyebrow. Yeah, you got a problem. The boy's eyes narrow. No, not at all, I'm just surprised is all. Medusa smirks at the boy as her eyes lock onto him. You usually don't like to stay around, is there a reason why you're staying? It's not like you can eat. Maka sees Ragnarok tense, his eyes lighting on fire. He's gripping the table, his chest puffing up. I asked him to stay. Krona speaks up nervously. Everyone looks over at him, causing him to tense up. Oh. Medusa's hard gaze is on her son now. And why is that? Krona freezes. Because I wanted someone to fucking clean up after me. Maka grunts, finally getting the woman's eyes off her son. I see, so Ragnarok is here just to clean up. The raven-haired boy does not look happy. Then may I ask Ragnarok why you are sitting so close to her? Medusa turns her attention back on the raven-haired boy. If you were just going to clean up you would leave and come back dash. Get off my fucking shit. He snaps, his eyes on fire. What if I want to fucking sit here like I am alive? I should be able to do shit without you up my asshole. I'm sure you want to do a lot of things like you're alive, Ragnarok. Medusa's smirk is so large and it's annoying smirk. This fucking bitch. Krona and Mako look over at the boy. Oh yeah, he's pissed. His dark blue eyes are black, his grip on the table dangerously tight. The boy is glaring so darkly at the woman, a glare that would cause a demon to yelp in fright. But Medusa is still staring at him, still smirking at him. But you can't, can you? Medusa chuckles at how the boy's teeth bare. How delightful. Ragnarok stands up, his chest puffing up so bad. Our Ragnarok. Krona eyes him cautiously and shakes his head frantically. It's not worth it. Maka still can't believe she said that. This bitch. Krona's right, it's pointless. Medusa eyes Maka. A lot of things are pointless for you, aren't they? She wants him to snap. She wants him to attack her. Ragnarok takes a step forward, but Maka gets up and grabs his arm. He's going to walk into whatever this bitch is planning. Ragnarok, just stop and sit down. Maka struggles with the boy who is still trying to get over to the woman. Medusa is watching them carefully. Get the fuck off me, bitch. The raven-haired boy turns on her and punches her in the face. It's a hard hit. Maybe the hardest he's ever hit her. She's sent flying, hitting her chair and falling down. Maka. Krona gets out of his chair to help her. Medusa is just staring at the panting boy. There's no regret in his eyes, no guilt. Just hate. The woman's smirk falters slightly, a thoughtful expression on her face for a moment. Our Ragnarok, it wasn't Maka's fault that dash. Maka grabs Krona by the hand, and when he looks at her she just shakes her head. Now isn't the time to scold the raven-haired boy. Maka doesn't say anything to him as she sets up her chair and sits back into it. Blood is in her mouth, but she just puts her hand over her busted up lip and the pain melts away. Medusa's eyes light up. Amazing. She coos. Your healing ability is astonishing, yet you were not trained on it, simply amazing. Ragnarok looks at the way she's staring at Maka. He takes a seat back down, but his eyes are still that black. The doors to the kitchen open. And out come floating trays of food. They place themselves on the table and open up, showing all the delicious food. Maka's mind goes a blank. It smells so good, it looks so good. Sorry it took me so long, Lady Medusa. A woman comes out of the kitchen. Maka takes in her light blue long hair before she looks back down at the food. She starts filling up her plate with lobster and shrimp. Hell, she's getting 2 plates, it's not like anyone's going to use them. Get the dog, Erica. Medusa waves her off. Maka thinks the woman left, but she's not so sure. She's too busy stuffing her face. Krona watches her with wide eyes as she devours the food on her plate. Ragnarok's dark look is still there, but he can't help but to raise an eyebrow at her. Damn, it's not fucking going anywhere. You're eating like the food is going to fucking run away from you. Fuck you, Ragnarok. Maka grunts with a mouth full of food. What the fuck, are you a animal? Is it that good? Krona blinks, snapping out of his shock as he looks down at his plate with one lobster tail. It looks kind of scary. It's not scary. She grabs a hold of him and he squeaks. You got to eat it. Oh okay. Krona sighs in relief when she stopped shaking him. He picks up the fork with a shaky hand and stabs the lobster's meat. Maka watches him as he puts the smallest bit in his mouth. Why, yuck. His face scrunches up as he looks desperately for somewhere to spit it out. Maka looks at him in disbelief as he gets in a can and disposes of it. Do I even know you? What? Krona tenses up badly, his eyes shaking in panic as he looks over at her. How can you not like lobster? Maka huffs and cruises her arms. I don't know, Krona, maybe we need to rethink our relationship. Krona looks like he's about to have a heart attack. I was just kidding. He chuckles nervously as he takes his fork and stabs the rest of the lobster on his fork. I love lobster, see? He shoves it into his mouth. But he can't hide the look of disgust on his face. Yet he's giving her a thumbs up. Well, Krona. Maka's eyes get wide a little. Then I probably should tell you I was just kidding too. I don't care you don't like lobster dash. Krona spits it out. His shyness being pushed aside because he must not like it that much. He takes big gulps of his Coca-Cola before letting out a sigh. Maka can't help but to chuckle and he sends her a glare. But it looks like a pout. Why, you're such a jerk. He huffs. It's not my fault you're so gullible. Maka hums as she pinches his cheek. Even though he still pouts, his cheeks are tinted now. Krona winces when he watches her take a bite out of her lobster. How can you like that? I mean not that there's anything wrong with you. But that's so gross. Krona, you're just weird. Maka grunts as she puts another lobster on his plate. She can't help but to smirk. I don't think you tasted it completely. Why not try it again dash? And no way. Krona shakes his head with that pout on his face as he looks at the lobster. It's worse than tea than spinach. Lobster isn't that bad. Krona and Maka look over at Ragnarok that's staring at the food on Krona's plate with a almost thoughtful expression. At least what I remember of it anyway. You used to eat it when you were alive. Maka raises an eyebrow. No. Yes, fuck, I don't know, but I remember. I think I liked it. Shit, I don't know. He looks irritated now. It's been so fucking long. Krona stares at the other boy a moment, something flashing through his blue eyes before he looks down at his food. His gaze shifts. Ragnarok, if you want, why, you can have it. Krona looks up at the other boy. I can't fucking eat, dumbass. He glares at him. And no, I mean. Krona's gaze shifts. We could try. This causes something to flash through Ragnarok's eyes. The raven-haired boy stares at him a moment longer before he disappears. Krona's body jerks next to her. Maka knows it's Ragnarok now. She watches as he grabs the fork and gets some of the lobster meat on it. Ragnarok doesn't look exactly nervous. She can't tell how he's feeling right now. But if she's not mistaken, he looks hopeful. Ragnarok sticks the piece of meat in Krona's mouth. And for some reason Maka holds her breath. The boy chews slowly, his eyes still silently glaring. He swallows. Well. Maka looks at him, still holding that breath. I don't know. His voice is almost quiet, that glare in his eyes falling. Now his face is just blank. Maka frowns a bit at this, but Ragnarok takes his fork and gets some more meat. He eats at a slow pace, each bite is careful. But his face never changes. Maka can't help but to stare at him. He swallows. Nothing. He finishes the whole lobster, but his face never changes. Maka opens her mouth. Fuck yes. A voice roars, causing Maka to tense a bit and to look away from the boy beside her. A man walks in with that blue-haired woman, his grin is goofy and he's drooling. He charges for the table and attacks it, taking most of the food on his side. He digs in without a fork, just stuffing his face. Now this is a fucking animal. She knows she isn't that bad. Must you always do this? Medusa sighs. Poor Erica has to clean up after you. Free. I help her. He grunts. Sure you do. The blue-haired girl sighs, taking her sit next to him. Her hair is a bit messed up, and if Maka could take one word to describe her, it would be exhausted. She has bags under her eyes, her black eyes seem almost faded. Maka notices her hat that resembles a frog and the little black dots on the corner of her lips. It's cute really. But the man. Maka wrinkles her nose a bit at the way he laughs so annoyingly. He reminds her a bit too much of a certain blue-haired patient. He definably smells like him. The man, apparently named Free, just stuffs his face, ignoring her comment. Erica sighs and reaches over to grab some shrimp, mumbling something like, I can't believe you, as she does so. Maka looks over at Ragnarok to see he's glaring at the two new people at the table. Well, she knows his opinion on them. Where are my manners? Medusa smiles over at Maka. This is Free and Erica. They both live here and work for me. So if I'm gone and you need something, feel free to ask them. They have no choice but to listen to you. Erika tenses at this, but the man Free just keeps eating. Maka gives them a nod, not really knowing what to say to these two. She has a feeling about the girl though. She doesn't know how, but she can just tell she's a witch. And the man. She senses something from him also, but it's weird. Free, Erika, I need to speak with you. Medusa stands up, sending them a look. Ah, but I just starting fucking eating. Free roars. Medusa gives him a dark look and he throws his hands up in defeat. Fine jeez. Can't a guy get some food around here? He grumbles, but he gets up. Erika gives Maka a look before she follows the two out of the room. The door shuts behind them. Now that guy eats like an animal. Maka grunts as she looks over at Ragnarok. You have no fucking idea. The boy grunts, still in Krona's body. It's a good thing I took over. That guy scares the shit out of Krona. Well, he is really loud and smells, and Krona seems to have a pet peeve about big people who smell. Maka chuckles a little. Oh yeah? Then I wonder why he's okay with being around you. The boy smirks at her. I'm not big jackass and I definably don't smell. Maka grunts as she gets closer. Here, smell me. Bitch, I'm not fucking smelling you. He pushes her face away. You reek from right here. I smell like awesomeness. Maka smirks at him. You smell like something, alright. He glares away from her, but she sees his lips start to twitch a little. They're silent a moment. So those two. Maka taps her fingers on the table. I'm guess they're Medusa's lackeys? I can't picture her really having friends. But her mother was her friend. Her stomach twists. You could say that. Ragnarok grunts. Bitch definably doesn't have any friends, just enemies. If they could, they would be her fucking enemy too. If they could. Maka raises an eyebrow. Let's just say that fucking bitch has them right where she wants them. Ragnarok glares darkly. They're like me in that way. He seems to be getting angry. So she knows not to push it. They're silent for a moment and he seems to calm down just a bit. Were you able to? Maka asks a bit nervously. No. He speaks quickly, bluntly. He doesn't look at her. I couldn't taste it. Maka frowns at how his face drops, so he's glaring again. But his eyes. Ragnarok is trying to hide his disappointment with his anger. But she sees it. Her heart tugs. Why not try one more time? Maka tilts her head at him. It won't fucking do anything. He snaps, but she catches the bitterness. Just one more time. Maka rips a piece of lobster meat. I'm not fucking dash. Please. He tenses a bit when she touches his cheek. He turns to glare at her. Maka locks eyes with him, those piercing blue eyes burning into her own. She's determined. And he can see it. His glare falters just a bit as she strokes his cheek. One more time. Maka speaks softly as she lifts up the piece of lobster meat closer to the boy's lips. He stares at her a moment, his eyes seeming to search something in her own. She thinks he's about to fight her again. But he opens his mouth just a little bit. Maka puts the piece in his mouth, her right hand never leaving his cheek. Ragnarok starts to chew. Only to stop. His eyes widen a bit. And he swallows hard. He looks shocked. Ragnarok. Maka's thumb strokes his cheek. His piercing blue eyes lock on hers, his lips still slightly parted, his eyes wide. Did it dash? The doors sling open. He smacks her hand off him, but his eyes still have a weird look to them as he glares away from her. Fucking food. Free charges back to the table. And now those three are back in the room. Maka sighs and slumps a little in her chair. Well damn. Ragnarok won't even look at her now. Did it work or not? Something must have happened, but that look in his eyes. It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad either. She can't put her finger on it, but it seems whatever happened put him in a bad mood. Maka runs a hand through her hair. Even when she's not trying to, she pisses him off. She was just trying to help him. But now he won't even. There's a strong pressure on her hand that's under the table. Maka tenses and looks down. Her eyes can't help but to widen. Ragnarok is holding her hand. He still isn't looking at her. And his grip is crushing. But he's holding her hand. Maka looks at him and she sees that he tenses a little bit. He looks irritated from what she can see of his face. He tightens his grip on her hand and it hurts. Instead of questioning him, instead of teasing him, she just smiles. Ragnarok looks at her from the corner of his eye and sees the smile she's giving him. He glares away looking more irritated, but his cheeks are slightly tinted. She won't say anything smart, she won't take this moment to piss him off. Maka just enjoys it. Their hands staying together, their fingers entwined. And after a while, Ragnarok looses his hold. So he isn't hurting her anymore. Are you ready, Maka? Medusa looks at the girl with those piercing yellow eyes. The moon is shining down, casting shadows of this woman all across the room, making it seem like she's everywhere. Hell yeah. Maka smirks a bit. Her fingers are twitching. She's ready to get this power out. Krona frowns a bit watching her fingers and the growing smirk on her face. Ragnarok leans against the wall next to the boy, his eyes watching Medusa carefully. Erika and Free sit on the other side of this large plain room. Everyone is serious, even that brute. Good. Medusa's eyes light up. Now let's start off with something simple, shall we? Summon the book. Maka blinks a moment, forgetting what she's talking about. But she quickly remembers. All she has to do is think about the book and it reappears, floating in front of her, ready to be used. Maka feels her power flowing through her. She's ready. We're going to start off with a warm-up, if you will. Medusa takes a step forward. Open the book to page 1. Maka goes to grab the book. No, do not touch it. Only use your powers. Max sighs, but she concentrates. The book opens up to page 1. Maka blinks as she reads the title of it. Identity Illusion. Maka mumbles. Yes, this is the simplest spell there is. Medusa smiles at the thoughtful expression on the girl's face. Witches usually learn this spell at age 5, but we're starting you off a bit late. Medusa gives her a moment to read the first page. Do you know what to do? Yeah. Maka takes a deep breath as she closes her eyes. It seems simple enough. Try it on me then. Medusa takes a step closer. Maka opens her eyes to lock on hers. Her fingers are twitching and she can feel her power flowing. The tutu of her dress ruffles a little as she closes her eyes. Say the words. Fool the eyes of all that see me, I am me but I am not to them. The words come out as a chant. She focuses on Medusa. She feels her power come out and then nothing. Maka opens her eyes. Medusa looks the same. Maka looks down at herself. She still looks like her. Maka frowns. Did she do it wrong? Medusa smirks at her as she walks over to Krona. The boy isn't trembling like she thought he would, and then Medusa puts her arm around him. Krona is blushing slightly. Maka just stares with her mouth open. What the world? She takes a step closer to Medusa and Krona. When Krona looks at her, he tenses, his body starting to shake. He cowers closer to Medusa. Ragnarok is glaring at her so darkly. Maka is confused for a moment longer, but when she looks over at Medusa, who is smirking and giving her a thumbs up, she understands. It worked. Ragnarok and Krona see her as Medusa, while they see Medusa as her. Cool. Maka chuckles, her fingers twitching for more. Now undo it. Medusa walks away from Krona to her. Now both Krona and Ragnarok look confused. How? Maka frowns. Casting spells is the hard part. Undoing them is easy. Just think about yourself, how you look, concentrate on that. And Maka does. She hears Krona gasps as she looks over at him. She doesn't feel any change taking place. But she can tell by the way the two boys are looking at her now that they know it's her. Good job, my dear, are you ready to move on? Medusa smirks at her. Maka's smirk is large as she nods. She's ready. Krona, Ragnarok. Medusa looks over at the two with those cold eyes. You two are dismissed. Dismissed. Krona tenses as he looks at Maka for a moment before looking back at the woman. "See, couldn't we stay here, Lady Medusa? This room is a bit too crowded for my liking." Medusa eyes are so cold. "Then why don't you kick them the fuck out?" Ragnarok snaps, looking over at Erika and Free. "Because they are needed while you two are not." Medusa's eyes narrow. "You are dismissed." Ragnarok glares at her darkly, his fist gripped. Krona holds his arm with the other tightly, his eyes shaking in panic as he looks at Maka. The girl is just grinning to herself. They don't want to leave. It's obvious they don't. But Medusa is glaring them down. Ragnarok looks away from her as he walks out. Krona stands there a moment longer, his face so pale, his eyes full of concern. Of worry. But he leaves as well. The door closes behind them and she's left alone with Medusa and two others she doesn't know. They left her. But Maka is still grinning, her fingers still twitching. "Ready, Maka?" Medusa smirks at her. "Yes." She squeals, her grin is too large. "Let's have some fun." That voice chuckles. "It's my time to reign." Maka pants, her chest heaving. She stares up at the moon tiredly, her green eyes dull. Sweat is dripping down her face, dripping down her body. Maka doesn't want to look at her hands. They hurt so bad. She knows they're fucked up. The cold stone flooring she's laying on feels nice on her hot skin. Maka is so tired, so wore out. She can't do anything. She's in pain. "Good, Maka, good." Medusa coos as she walks over to the tired girl. Maka can't do anything. Erika and Free are moving closer as well. They're all surrounding her now. And she can't move. She's all alone at the mercy of these people. At the mercy of Medusa. Maka didn't think this through. She gave it her all, enjoying the feeling of using her powers. But she wasn't paying attention to how much she used. And now she's laying on the cold floor with both her hands fucked up. Alone. But in the back of her mind, would she be any safer if the two boys were here? Maka wants to say yes. But something inside of her is telling her no. Maka's not listening to that voice though. "You were amazing, just as I knew you would be." Medusa kneels next to her and grabs her, holding her so her head is resting on her lap. Maka can only groan in response. Medusa smiles at her, she snaps her finger and a cup appears in her hand. She uses her fingers to open Maka's mouth and she starts to lean the cup down. Maka's eyes flash and she tenses. But that's all she can do. "It's okay." Medusa coos. "This will help you can trust me." Maka knows she can't. But she can't move. She can't fight her. Maka can't even scream. And if she did, would anyone help her? Medusa pours the cup's contents in her mouth. Maka's eyes shake as the thick liquid slides down her throat. Her body twitches in defiance, but that's it. She can't do anything. And it keeps pouring into her, sliding down her throat, feeling slimly. That's it. Medusa purrs as she takes the empty cup from her lips. Maka's eyes roll back. She goes limp against the woman. Medusa's smile grows as she pulls the limp body of the girl closer to herself. She's definably Kami's child. Erika studies the girl in the woman's arms, she's frowning slightly. "What's the big deal?" Free grunts. "I've eaten stronger witches than this pipsqueak." "You're wasting your time, Medusa." "That's where you're wrong." Medusa smirks down at the girl as she strokes her cheek. "She isn't much now, but once I'm done with her, no one will be able to stop us. The world will be mine and I will have my revenge. Do you dare doubt me, Free?" It's not that I doubt you." The man tries to cover up his stutter, but all heard it. "It's the fact that this girl is so weak and her time is running out. I mean, come on, the demon won't wait forever dash. And he's not going to have to." Medusa cuts him off as she keeps stroking Maka's cheek. "I know what I'm doing." "Lady Medusa, what about that Justin boy?" Erika cuts in a little nervously. "He's cutting the time we would have in half with him, making Azura stronger, and he's set on killing the girl. We will take care of that boy soon, but I need him a bit longer." Medusa nuzzles her head against Maka's. "What about the dash?" "The mayor's son." Medusa smirks. "He isn't a threat. If anything, I can use him to my advantage. you come to me with all these concerns, but I've planned all this from the very beginning. Do you think I'm a fool that you have to tell me what I already know? Both Erica and Free cower away from her a little. And no, not at all, Lady Medusa. Erica shakes her head, panic in her expression. Everything is going according to plan. Medusa smirks over at the two, her eyes getting a dangerous glint. If not better than planned, I've just learned some interesting information. Interesting information. The blue-haired girl perks up a little. Yes, I think I'm going to play a little game, but right now our main concern is making sure Maka is happy and comfortable, but at the same time we must push her to become stronger. Medusa looks at the blue-haired witch. I have to take care of some things tomorrow, you two are in charge of looking over her. She smirks. Erica, you know what to do. Yes, Lady Medusa. She does a small bow. Maka suddenly groans in her arms. No one make a sound. Medusa hisses. It's silent. Maka is whimpering. She's starting to thrash in the woman's arms. Medusa watches with dark glee as the girl's veins become visible. She can see the liquid she gave work through her body, making her veins black. Perfect. Maka's hands are healed slowly. But she's jerking so badly. The black liquid is dripping out of the corner of her mouth. Medusa wipes it gently as she starts to chant lowly. With her hand she commands the liquid, telling it where to travel. No part of Maka is spared. Medusa keeps chatting till she feels the crack. The crack of the barrier inside this girl, the barrier she uses to hold her darkness back. It's the slightest crack, but it's a crack. Medusa stops her chanting. Maka's veins go back to normal and her body goes limp again. It will all be over soon. Medusa nuzzles her head against the unconscious girl. My child. The smirk on her face is ghastly. Krona paces back and forth in Maka's room. Maka's because he knows it wasn't meant for him. Krona is close to having a mental breakdown. He is breathing so hard, his heart going too fast. Maka has been gone for hours. God, he's so worried. The boy grips his freshly cut hair as he walks around in circles. It's been so long. Is she okay? Is Medusa hurting her? Is she scared? Is she hurt? Krona has to stop to take deep breaths. He's about to pass out and he knows it. That's when Ragnarok reappears. Is she okay? Krona screams at the other boy in panic, and he's sure he probably just ripped some of his hair out. I couldn't get in there. The raven-haired boy takes a deep breath, a scowl on his face. They sealed the room up tight, and if I forced myself in they would have known. Oh God, Maka. Krona starts to pace around again. This is killing him. His chest hurts so much. What if they're killing her, Ragnarok? What if they're hurting her? She's all alone. That bitch is fucking fine. Ragnarok growls, but his voice doesn't even sound certain. Did you forget we just fucking got here? Medusa wouldn't kill her already, she wants something, remember? But we don't know what that is. Krona's breathing is jagged. What if all this time she just wanted to kill her? What if this talk about a bigger plan was all a lie? I doubt that. Ragnarok glares at the other boy, but still his voice isn't as sharp. Look, Medusa is probably just working Maka, teaching her about being a witch and all that shit so she can be her heir. Krona doesn't think Ragnarok believes his own words. It's more a reassurance. But it's not reassuring anyone. Not even the raven-haired boy himself. If that was true, why did she kick us out? Krona's throat is dry. Ragnarok doesn't have anything to say to this. The raven-haired boy glares into the wall, burning holes. His eyes are on fire and soon he punches the wall. Damn it. Ragnarok punches it again, his teeth bared. God damn it. This fucking bitch. What the fuck is she planning? What the hell does she want? Krona just starts to pace in response. Because he doesn't know. Medusa hasn't been telling them anything. And that worries him. Maybe she knows that if they knew they would try to help Maka to stop her. But deep down he knows he couldn't do anything. And neither could Ragnarok. But he has to ask. If Medusa was really planning on killing Maka, what could we do? Ragnarok stops punching the wall. They're silent for a moment. Nothing. That one word came out as a growl, but it almost sounded painful. But maybe we could dash. We don't even know where we are. We don't even know this mansion well. And okay, so what if we got away from Medusa? Azura would come and kill her. Ragnarok breathing is deeper. We can't fucking beat him either, and you know it. If not for Medusa, we wouldn't have made it out last time. Krona opens his mouth to protest, to say he's wrong. But he has nothing to say. Because he's right. Krona grips his heart as he bows his head. It hurts so much. No matter what they do, Maka is in danger. And the worst part about it, he knows they're running out of time. It's all my fault. Krona's voice cracks. We didn't fucking know. Ragnarok punches the wall again. We didn't fucking know. I did. Krona's chest hurts so much. I didn't know at first, but I could have stopped it. I could have told her, but even then it would have been too late. Look, dash. All Maka's tears, all her blood. It's on my hands. Krona looks down at his shaking hands, his gaze shifting between the both of them. And now Maka could be getting hurt, and I can't do anything but stand her and hope for the best. The boy hugs himself, some tears falling down his cheeks. It's all my fault, all my fault. Krona, get yourself fucking together. Ragnarok growls as he marches over and grabs the other boy by the shirt roughly. You're acting like she fucking died already. She hasn't, alright? Just fucking trust me, she hasn't. And what is she going to fucking say when you're a complete wreck when she comes back? Just don't even think about it. She's not going to fucking die, alright? Our Ragnarok, we don't know what Medusa is, dash. Maka's not going to fucking die, alright? The raven-haired boy throws Krona down, his chest puffing up. That's not what's going to fucking happen. Krona looks up at him with wide shaking eyes. She's going to fucking come through those doors and she's going to be fine. Not even a fucking scratch. The boy is roaring. I hope you're right, Ragnarok. Krona forces himself up. I really hope you're right. Of course I'm fucking right. His piercing blue eyes flash, but Krona sees something in them that he himself is feeling. Fear. But they have different ways of dealing with such a strong emotion. Ragnarok tries to deal with it, with his anger, with his hate. And Krona, well, he can't deal with it. Our Ragnarok dash. Krona can't finish what he was about to say. The boy cries out in pain as he falls to his knees. It feels like his skin is on fire. His heart is beating too fast and each beat is painful. He can't stop screaming and his body is thrashing, jerking and twisting. What the fuck is dash? Ragnarok is in front of him, trying to grab a hold of him to stop the movements his body is doing. But even the raven-haired boy is struggling. Krona sees the boy's lips move. But he can't hear him anymore. But he hears a giggling in the back of his head. Then everything goes dark. Krona, what the fuck? Ragnarok roars as he struggles with the thrashing boy. Krona's veins are showing and they look black. Ragnarok doesn't know what the fuck is going on. Suddenly the boy stops jerking against him. Krona goes limp, his head bowing and his veins going back to normal. Ragnarok pants as he lays the boy on the floor. This feeling he has. Something is fucking wrong. The door opens. And maybe for just a moment his chest tightens in hope that this was Maka. And she is okay. But when he looks behind him, that hope is destroyed. Medusa smirks at him, holding the limp girl in her arms. Ragnarok keeps his face blank. But it's fucking hard. Interesting. Medusa hums as she looks over at the unconscious boy. So it affected him as well. This should be fun. The woman chuckles darkly. What the fuck did you do to him? Ragnarok growls, trying not to look at the girl. The same thing I did to her. I helped them both, you see. That didn't look like fucking help to me. Why do you care? He's my fucking body, did you forget you took mine away? Ragnarok snaps, his eyes on fire. Of course not. She chuckles. But don't worry, Krona's body will be fine and so will Maka's. Medusa purrs at the last part, her eyes lighting up in dark glee as she looks at the unconscious girl in her arms. I just gave them a boost, if you will. A boost. Medusa throws the empty cup towards the raven-haired boy. His face drops in realization. That black shit. Medusa only smirks at him as she strokes the girl's cheek. He's trying to keep his emotions in check. But it's so fucking hard when he's so pissed off. And she's fucking petting the girl like she cares for her. But she doesn't. And he knows it. Ragnarok, be a dear and take care of her. Medusa throws the girl. Not even in his direction. He moves quickly, reappearing right when she's about to hit the ground in front of her. Ragnarok catches Maka. For someone so important you treat her like shit. Ragnarok snaps, sending the woman a dark glare. Who said she was important? Medusa gives him this fucking grin. He knows he's showing how pissed off he is in his expression. He can't help it. This fucking bitch is still playing with them. Playing with him. Sweet dreams, Ragnarok. That grin stays as she fades away, leaving him with the unconscious girl and the unconscious boy. Ragnarok feels his being boil with hate, with anger. He wants to destroy everything. To fucking howl like an animal. But he doesn't, not yet anyway. Ragnarok looks down at the girl in his arms. She doesn't look like she's hurt. But he knows better. That bitch did something to her, did something to Krona. He feels his chest tighten as he looks at the girl's exhausted face. And he hates it. He hates it so fucking much. The boy is feeling too much. Yet he can't do anything. This bitch, this fucking bitch. The hate he feels right now is so intense. But as he looks at this girl, his chest tightens in fucking worry and concern. And it's worse than before. Because she is making him feel more and more as the days go by. She's making him remember. This is all her fault. Ragnarok's breathing is jagged as he carefully carries the girl over to the large bed and lays her down. She doesn't move. He grips his fist as he walks over to Krona. The boy hasn't moved, his face pale. He hates that bitch so fucking much. Ragnarok picks up the boy and carries him over, laying him down next to Maka. They don't move, they look like they're barely breathing. His chest tightens more when their bodies start to shiver. Is it cold in here? He wouldn't know. Or is it whatever the fuck Medusa did causing it? Ragnarok grabs the blanket and pulls it over the two. But they keep shivering. The raven-haired boy grinds his teeth, but he wraps Krona's arms around her, pushing their bodies closer. He has body warmth while he doesn't. Ragnarok watches as their shrieking slowly dies down, the warmth they're sharing solving the problem. Because they're alive and need warmth. Unlike him. Ragnarok runs a hand through his dark hair, his breathing still uneven. He doesn't know what the fuck Medusa is planning, what the fuck she just did to them. And it pisses him off so much. And when he looks at the limp girl, he can't look at her. It's too much. Of all fucking times to feel, now is the worst. His emotions are overwhelming. And he fucking hates it. He needs to break something to destroy. But when he tries to leave, someone grabs his wrist. Ragnarok looks down at the girl, her shaking hand barely touching him. The girl's eyes are closed, but she's whimpering. Ragnarok can't leave her. He reappears next to her in bed and he holds her. But he can't feel her and he knows she can't feel him. He has no warmth to give. But he has to do something. The feeling in his chest is unbearable. It keeps getting worse because of her. If he had a fucking heart, he knows it would speed around her. And he hates knowing that. But he can't deny this anymore. This feeling he has for her. God damn it, no. Just no. He's fucking dead. And soon she will be. His breath hitches and his being flickers a bit. No. He won't even think about that. Not now. He will go insane. He won't think about Medusa and how much he fucking hates her. Not right now. He isn't stable. The girl's head turns towards him. Her forehead resting against his. He knows she's breathing in his face. But he can't feel it. Now he's forced to look at her, to be so close to her. Yet he can't feel her. But he feels too much for her. And he fucking hates it. But she makes him feel, and today at dinner. Ragnarok's chest tightens just thinking about it. Because of her. He tasted it. He tasted the lobster. It was just the faintest sensation, but he tasted it. Words cannot describe how happy he was. He didn't know what to do with himself. He was able to taste. And he knows it was because of her, somehow she did it. He wanted to tackle her, to fucking crush her in a hug. But that's not who he is. So he just glared away from her like an ass. But it was eating at him. Because she had made him happy, but he couldn't say thank you. Words would have failed him. So he just held her hand. But even that was a hard task, and he was sure she was going to make a smart-ass comment. But she didn't. She just let him hold her hand. If he had a heart, it would have skipped a beat. How fucking lame. It pisses him off thinking about it, but when he thinks about that sweet smile she gave him, he can feel his mouth twitch up into that crooked smile. But when his eyes refocused on her exhausted face, that smile falls. Because she's hurt. Medusa has done something to her, has done something to Krona. And he can't do anything. Nothing at fucking all. Medusa is fucking playing with all of them. Fucking messing with their heads. And he knows all her games. But he doesn't know her fucking goal. There was a time that this wouldn't have bothered him. He would have just left, disappeared, and he wouldn't have thought about it. But that time is over. He can't leave them. And all he can do is think about it. Ragnarok strokes her cheek. He's never treated anyone with care. Except for his mother. His breath hitches again and he shakes his head. The memories are painful. But they keep coming to him. And he knows it's because of Maka. It's all because of her. She's making him more human. But he's dead. And nothing could change that. It was better when he didn't fucking feel, when he acted like what he is. Dead. It's like this girl is raising him back up. Making him feel, but not enough. He feels more bad than good. And this feeling that's growing for her, he needs to put it out. Ragnarok grinds his teeth. He's worried about them, about her. What the fuck did Medusa do? What has she done? Ragnarok doesn't have an answer. Instead, he has a limp girl in his arms. And a heavy heart. But he doesn't have a fucking heart. And yet, Ragnarok pulls the girl closer protectively. She makes him feel like he has one. Check the description for the links to the author.